We're off to see the wizard in this very awkward and off-putting and uncomfortable and unfunny Muppets adaptation. We watch The Muppets Wizard of Oz today on Nothing Movies.
It's the Nothing Movie Show, and we watched Muppets Wizard of Oz with our very special guest star, Chloe Eldritch. Yay!
Yay!
Happy to be here. Oh my goodness, it's the Nothing Movie Show.
The Nothing Movies Show, yeah. That would be like what my grandparents would call this.
Oh, you're still doing
your Nothing Movie Show.
You're still doing your Nothing Movies
where
program.
is that on the radio dial?
What dial do I need to turn that to?
I want to tune into that one.
I don't think anybody has been that enthusiastic to see me in my whole entire life. Thank you.
I'm very excited about this episode. Can you tell?
I can tell. Yeah.
We get to talk about my favorite guys in the entire world. Like, truly performers that I hold in, like, the highest of esteem. Like Daniel Day-Lewis, Laurence Olivier, Gonzo, you know, like all of the greatest.
All the
He's right, it's right there in his name, the great Gonzo.
I did speak to Kermit before this episode, and he really wanted to come, but unfortunately, due to my terrible memory, he is stuck at home.
Oh, your Kermit puppet, you mean?
No, she means Kermit the Frog.
The real Kermit?
So I have a Kermit the Frog doll, a little plushie. He's got little Velcro hands and little Velcro feet. He is well older than all of us. My mother got him in 1970.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been in the family forever, but he sits and he hangs out with me in my home. I love Kermit.
I have puppets that are probably from that era too, that have definitely existed since before I was born. I just have them put aside in a. They're not on display. They're definitely in a box somewhere. But yeah, I got a Cookie Monster and an Oscar. Who
I don't know if they're on display so much as he sits on my radiator with my other stuffed animals. Yeah, and they hang out, and we all hang out.
Welcome back to the Nothing Movie Show, which is what we're calling it now. Where it's time to start recording.
It's time to light the lights.
It's time to do a podcast on a Muppet film tonight. I'm Kaz Leskar.
I'm Jameson Rafter.
And yes, as we mentioned earlier, today we are talking about 2005's Muppets Wizard of Oz. I'm excited to talk about the subject of today's episode.
Less so to talk about the movie itself.
The movie itself. This is right in the era of like the dead era for the Muppets, where they were still producing content, but all of it was not nearly as satisfactory as...
And it's a very dissatisfying window into what the mid-2000s were like, and just how much of a fucking pop culture dead zone it was.
Sure, yeah.
This is what constituted as humor and entertainment in the beginning of the millennium.
I mean, we'll talk about the plot of the movie in the second half here, but just to give you a little amuse-bouche, the first time the Muppets show up on screen in this movie, I believe the second line delivered by a Muppet is from Rizzo the Rat, and it is a Girls Gone Wild reference.
Yeah,
and that's what I want in my children's entertainment, my family entertainment. Absolutely is the note that they're aware of what that is.
It's weird hearing a Muppet reference that.
They use the word sexy so often in this special. It's very unpleasant. It's very uncomfortable. But anyway, before we get into this not terribly good adaptation, Chloe, what is your experience with the Muppets? We were talking like a little bit off mic here that you did remind me I am depressingly old, and you.
She didn't lead with that. She didn't come in here kicking the door down.
Hey, I didn't say depressingly.
No, I did. On mic for everyone to
hear. Just regular old.
Just regular old, sure. No, but yeah, you grew up you were born in the 90s, and you grew up in you grew up in this era. Like, you would have been 10 or so when this special came out. So yeah, like, what is your Muppet story?
So You are not depressingly older. There's a 9-year difference between us.
Older people than me.
I was,
sure.
Hell, I'm going to be 40 in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
By the time this episode comes out, I'll be over the hill.
We're almost gonna have to put you down.
Yeah.
I've been 40 this entire time, just for the record. No one is sadder than I am.
Oh, so this is what I got to look forward to, eh?
Yeah, all of this. Take a good look.
Ugh.
You guys are really like setting a good precedent for me to age.
Yeah, if you can manage it, just stop. I would recommend stop.
Yeah, I turn back now while you still can.
Just stop aging.
What are your thoughts on the Muppets, Chloe?
Anyways, no, so you were correct. I was born in the 90s. The golden era of Muppets, I feel, were definitely like the late 70s and 80s, but there were a lot of bangers that came out in the 90s. There's Muppet Christmas Carol, and my personal favorite, their magnum opus, Muppet Treasure Island. Absolute genius movie. No notes. Really could have talked about that. Well, instead, would have shown up here with good notes, good quality notes, but no, we had to choose this piece of crap.
Look,
instead.
we don't talk about bona fide masterpieces on this show. We talk about the movies that don't exist.
Yeah, and sometimes they're great, and most of the time they're not.
There are other Muppet properties that we could have covered other than this one, but this one struck me as interesting because it is sort of it's the third point in the trifecta of the Muppets do a story trilogy.
An adaptation.
You got Christmas Carol and you got Treasure Island, and then I guess this is the third one because they haven't really attempted. All other Muppet movies from this point on have just been the Muppets do a thing. The Muppets go to France or whatever, but this is the last time they
take
tried
Manhattan.
They tried to adapt something.
Well, I do think that there was you say Muppets Take Manhattan. There actually was quite a precedent set of them having their own unique films and storylines, like the Great Muppet Caper, and I love the Muppet movie, just the first one. That's like one of my favorites. The Rainbow Connection is an
Beautiful
automatic
song.
Tier situation for me.
So we should also say that we're somewhat timing this episode strategically because at the time of recording this, we are also living in a post Return of the Muppet Show world.
Extremely excited about that.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it yet, but like, why did it take so long for them to redo the Muppet Show?
Well,
that's a perfect
They
vehicle for
were
them.
trying so many other things with the Muppets, and like the thing is all like, why did the Muppets disappear for so long? It's like they didn't. They've released all of these things that most people didn't watch or didn't engage with.
Yeah.
I would say the Jason Segel Muppet Resurgence was actually like a banger movie. I think
That's
it
a
was
great movie.
Really, really good. I like the second one too, where Kermit's in the gulag.
Yeah.
That was deeply hysterical to me. I like Tina Fey as Soviet Russian
Prison guard or
lady.
whatever,
Prison
yeah.
guard.
Tina Fey has the best joke in that movie where she's
Hysterical.
saying goodnight to all of the inmates, and then she gets to Danny Trejo, and we find out that he's simply playing Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my favorite joke.
Good. I also like the ABC show where it was basically 30 Rock but
Yeah,
Muppets.
Yeah.
that's the thing. Is like the
And they
Muppets.
had the Electric Mayhem show as well.
I wanna
which
see that
haven't
mockumentary
watched
on them or
yet.
something,
I
yeah.
will be honest, but from what I saw from the ABC Muppet show, I was a really big fan of that, and I wanted to see more of that. I thought they should have gotten more of a season. I love that Kermit and Piggy broke up, and that Kermit was dating a different bitch named Denise, and I like Denise too. I was like, unfortunately, she has a good character, and I kind of understand it because like Piggy is like kind of mean to Kermit, and I don't like when she's mean to Kermit.
Wow, that's an interesting observation and a bit of a hot take. Wow, I
I
don't think
don't
a lot
like-
of
I don't-
people
but here's the
assume
thing.
that relationship is a toxic one.
No shit.
He is whipped. He's Piggy whipped.
I do love Muppet Treasure Island, but even then, when Miss Piggy is playing Benjamina
Gunn. Yes.
Gunn, but like, and then like her first interaction with Kermit is to just like slap the patootie out of him. And
Well,
it's
he
like,
did. He did abandon her on Treasure Island.
No, I just don't think that's right. We should be, but when Piggy does it,
Reconcile
I like
your
it.
differences, yeah.
I will also put out there that I was Miss Piggy this year for Halloween.
I saw the pictures. You nailed
Yep.
it. Like that was a great idea for a
Thank
costume.
you.
Didn't you try to mix it up with some cops though?
Oh. Would the podcast like to hear about my interaction with the police as Miss
If you're
Piggy?
comfortable telling that
I
story.
think we're gonna have to hear it now.
So, I am extremely comfortable talking about this. It's whether or not you're going to edit it out. But no, so I was dressed as Miss Piggy, and for some reason, there was a particular garrison of, like, cops in this one spot.
It was Halloween. Like, they roadblocked the main street.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. But they had, like, assault weapons on them, which I just thought was very excessive. Any hoodles. So I walked up to a group. Actually, I did this several times, but I only filmed the one time of me doing this, where I was going up to cops and asking if they would let me take a photo with them. And they all said no. And because they're public servants, I just did it anyways because whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, they're here to service us, and what you needed service with was the selfies.
Yeah, and so I walked up to a group of them and I said, "Hey, can I get a selfie with you guys?" And they all said, "No, not at this time." And I was just a shithead and said, "Oh, I just thought it would be, like, fun since we are all pigs."
They were armed, you say?
What are they going to do to me? I'm armed with a Kermit the Frog plush with me that's, like, 1 million years old. And I'm laughing and I'm giggling and I'm silly goose hours.
And as they should know, you do know you are a master of kung fu, so they really shouldn't be messing.
The funny thing is, like, I did the Miss Piggy costume, but I can't do the Frank Oz voice. I just can't. So it's just me and my own. I would argue I have a Muppet voice, but it's more of a Prairie Dawn sort of Muppet than it is like a Miss Piggy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Sesame Street fan. That's where my Muppet lore really comes through. I think that kind of so few of the Muppets.
They blend together.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like, for God's sake, Kermit is a cast member on Sesame Street, so they
cross over frequently.
Bridges the gap constantly.
But I will say again, because distressingly for the both of you, I was born in 1994, so
speak up.
A lot of those Muppet movies came out distressingly before. I was even, like, conscious of that. So I think Sesame Street was the first exposure I would have had to that.
Sure. And look, I'll just say this for the record. You know, like, I was born in 1985, so the first 3 Muppet movies came out before I was born. So I grew up with them.
We've kind of seen the bulk of the
I'm not saying you're ancient.
The bulk of, like, the Muppet media kind of came out, like, after we were born. But, like, the main one, of course, was The Muppet Show, which was a show that I watched all the time as a kid. It was a great show to watch with the whole family because the Muppets are just, like, endlessly approachable and all ages appropriate and wholesome. So, like, and, like, you know, my folks and my grandparents really liked the celebrities, like, really hamming it up with the Muppets, which, like, seems like one of the most fun gigs to ever land in show business.
Yeah, which is why this new Seth Rogen produced reboot is probably going to play like gangbusters, because I have to imagine there's a laundry list of people who want to be on the Muppet Show.
Weird Al, first of all, he'd love to go.
The love of my life.
Yeah, get in on the Muppets.
My hear me out is Weird Al. Mostly younger
you don't even need to finish that sentence.
Going back to what you were saying about the Jason Segel movie, I thought for sure, because that whole movie is about them reviving the Muppet Show, I thought for sure that was going to spearhead an initiative to do the Muppet Show again. I'm surprised that didn't happen.
There was this newfound appreciation. Trying to.
What I find so interesting is that Jason Segel, you know, he did Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which notably has
a puppet
a puppet Dracula musical or whatever. And after the success of that, the story is, you know, he went to, like, the big Hollywood producer. He went to Orson Welles and he turned around and said, "Rich and famous contract." And they said, like, "Jason Segel, you're hot shit right now. What do you want to do?" And he said, like, "What's going on with the Muppets? Can I do something with the Muppets?" And he makes that movie, which is absolutely delightful.
It's
still
so
holds
good.
up.
It's actually genuinely very good.
It gives so I remember seeing that in theaters. With past guest and friend of the podcast, Brad Duffy. And when they get to the part of the show where they're just doing the Muppet Show again, and the music starts playing, and they come out and they start going like this, I noticeably grabbed his arm and was all like, "I'm so happy now!" So that comes out, and then they do another Muppet movie. They kick it around for a bit. ABC, which owns the rights, does the Office parody, which is good.
I've heard good things, but it's such a weird
I like
show.
it. There's obviously there's parts of it that are a little bit
and then I think it reverts.
But I think if they had gotten a second season, like, the first season was obviously the first season, and I think for a lot of shows like that, even The Office itself, if you go back and you watch the first season of The Office, it's not that good. I mean, it's good.
The first season, no, it's pretty rough. They ironed it out by the time the second
I,
season rolls around.
I think an issue with that show is that coming off of a movie that was called The Muppets, I think something that maybe shot them in the foot was calling the show The Muppets. And you're explaining the concept is all like, oh, is it The Muppet Show? No, they're in like an office and they're talking to the camera and stuff.
It's more like 30 Rock.
Once you get into it, it's very funny and like there are moments that I really liked about it, but it took like a couple of episodes for me to be all like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing.
It takes a couple of episodes, but it's only like a couple of episodes.
Yeah, there's only one season,
Yeah, it's only like 11 episodes, but it's good.
It's too bad. I think if it had a second season, I think they could have found their own footing, which is why I'm very excited for both maybe watching the Electric Mayhem show and then maybe the new Muppet whatever, but my tolerance for crap at this point is so low.
I have the new Muppet Show. I have seen twice. It's great. There's nothing. It's absolutely perfect.
It's exactly what it needed to be.
Great, but I mean when they make like the Muppet show again.
Disney Plus has been churning this stuff out. Like they had like another thing that I think was called like Muppets Now, which is like Muppets on social media, and it's just all like that's not what we're interested in.
No, Jim Henson rolling in his grave.
Like Kermit has a blog or whatever.
Which is entirely too bad because Jim Henson was obsessed with Disney. He loved Disney. All he ever wanted was to get Disney to pick up not just the Muppets in general, like the Muppet Show, but Sesame Street and all this. Yeah. He loved it. He loved it. Disneyland was his favorite place. And right before he died, he was about to sign a massive contract with Disney that would have taken all the IPs of everything he'd ever done. Like the
Dark Crystal, Fraggle Rock.
The entire Henson Company. So he was going to do all of that. So yeah, Fraggle Rock, the Muppet Babies, like everything. But then he died. And then Bud Eisner, who's like a fucking asshole, he went, oh, well, it's not worth as much anymore now that he's not in charge. And he was kind of fucking right and based. So they like sold it. The entire Henson Company was sold to this German company for I don't know how much money. It was it was not very much.
I will intercede here to mention that I don't. It obviously wasn't produced by Disney, but both Christmas Carol and Treasure Island were distributed by Disney. They have the Walt Disney logo in front of both of those movies, and they're on the Disney VHS collections. Okay, well, there we go. I'm sorry, shut my mouth.
So Disney ended up buying just the Muppets. Just the Muppets on its own, and not any of the other properties. So the entire Henson Company ended up getting sold to, but that was not. I don't know if we want to like keep this in.
I just find it so funny that before we started recording, you said I didn't do any research for this, and you're just dropping all of this backstory.
I didn't do any research, but I already know all this.
Exactly, the two of you, yeah.
No, but before Jim Henson died, it was distributed, but it wasn't owned by Disney. Didn't own the rights to any of this stuff at all. So I don't know if that was like contracts that they'd already had with the Henson Company before he had passed away. But when he died, they were like, no, we don't really like want this. And the entire company ended up getting sold to like this German company that the Henson family then had to buy back for like several $1 million. Like, again, I don't have all the numbers like locked into my brain, so you might want to have to go back and like look at that again, but like,
do your own research.
Yeah.
I mean, like, this podcast has always been us repeating stuff that we we offhandedly learned from like not credible sources.
Yeah, and then I talked to an actual historian, and they're like, "You're a fucking idiot."
None of that is true. Yeah.
No, but definitely, like, he had a contract with Disney, and they were going to buy everything from him, and then they didn't, and they didn't want the Dark Crystal, they didn't want the Labyrinth, they didn't want any of that. They just wanted the Muppets, and I'm not including Sesame Street or any of that. Like, they just wanted the Muppets on their own,
and now they got them.
Yeah,
and everything's great, and they haven't they haven't released anything of terrible quality since
they haven't driven it into the ground yet.
So when Wizard of Oz came out, they were owned by the German company.
Okay,
right, so we can blame
the Germans.
We can blame the Germans for this. So
because Disney would not allow
Disney has never done anything
clear.
wrong. No. The two things I wanted to say. One, so Jason Segel gets the reins of the Muppets, produces one movie. He actually doesn't have anything to do with Muppets Most Wanted. It's the same director, but Jason Segel put all of his creative energy just into the 2011 Muppets film.
Right.
I just find it interesting that the resurrection of the Muppets can be attributed to one era with Jason Segel, and now we're in another resurrection of the Muppets, and it's largely thanks to his Freaks and Geeks co-star Seth Rogen. And I just find it interesting that those two guys who were on the same show together both have their own independent Muppet Show revitalization and
appreciation.
Now, there's
too,
also a lot of chatter online or whatnot. A sticking point that people have noticed about this new 30-minute Muppet Show special is the suspicious absence of the character of Walter. Created by Jason Segel for the Muppet movie. Walter's nowhere to be seen in this.
Classic Muppet Walter.
One and done
Look, this is what I'm building to.
Beloved Muppet Walter.
This is what I'm building to. I'm not going to stand up for Walter as a character. I'm just saying he's been introduced now. Just have him in the background. This is the thing that I love about the Muppet Show that reminded me when I was watching the new one. When they're in the theater, there's just all these Muppets in the background just having conversations that we're not privy to.
Yeah. And a bunch of chickens.
Yeah, and a bunch of chickens. But it makes it feel alive.
Yes.
It adds, it really like breathes life.
There's people
into these inanimate objects where it's all like, these are living beings and they have their own relationships and their own agendas, and they'll just, and like, you know, the plot can be going on, but just like Bunsen Honeydew and New Zealand are talking in the background. It's like, what are these two guys talking about? Like, it could be anything.
Yeah. What do they have in common?
It's probably Boomerang Fish, let's be perfectly honest. But
which is again why it deserved a second season.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it'll be bound to get there.
Hopefully,
yeah.
because I do think like a variety show is the perfect vehicle for the Muppets, but like maybe save movie adaptations for like if they have an idea that's too big for a show, or if they have to do like another adaptation of like some public domain property.
Just make a Muppet TV show for like the next 5 years, and I'll be happy.
Or even just have a couple of specials throughout the year. You know, you have your one in the springtime, you have your one around Christmas time. Yeah.
No, I want a full season.
You want a full season?
No, I want more. They've given me a little taste. Now I want too much of it.
Okay.
Is what I want.
So they have kind of done this. There's like the Muppet Haunted Mansion and all this trash.
From the director of Muppet Wizard of Oz, we'll get into it.
It's all trash that's already on Disney Plus. So it's nice to see them actually like in an official show where they get to
Muppet
I don't know,
Haunted Mansion kind of had its moments. I'm not going to really stick up for it, but it's not the worst. It's definitely better than Wizard of Oz. We gotta give it that.
Which we should fully just get fucking
just sink our teeth into this.
But I just want, before we delve into this, I wanted, if you could allow me to speak on the microphone for a moment, James. I know it's something that rarely happens.
First time for anything.
You were talking about the Muppet movie. You're talking about the Rainbow Connection. After I watched the new Muppet Show, I threw on the Muppet movie, which is a movie that I've seen like a billion times on VHS growing up, but I hadn't seen it in a very long time. And I put it on and I was eating my dinner. And when it got to the chorus of Rainbow Connection, I, under no control of my own, put my fork down and just went, someday we'll find it. And I
Rainbow Connection.
I couldn't have stopped
lovers,
if I had
the
wanted
dreamers,
to.
And me.
That's the power that movie. And it's just like, it's pure. It's like all of those movies are
so
absolute
powerful.
pure
Yeah.
magic. To this day, I still do not know how they managed to get Kermit the Frog to ride a bicycle. That's still one of the most incredible things I think I've ever fucking seen in a movie. And then Muppet Caper, they double down and have all of them riding bicycles.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is
like,
incredible
look at what we
too.
can do.
They have legs!
There's I think it was, I don't know if it was like the Muppet movie or the second one, but it was like Together Again.
That is from Muppets Take Manhattan.
That's Muppet Take
Which
Manhattan. I think about that one a lot.
Is an interesting one because that's the third canonical Muppet movie. I didn't grow up with that one, and I didn't watch that until I was an adult, and I think it's fine. I think that one is totally fine.
Okay.
I'm not super in
And
love with it.
The original one is my favorite.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
Muppets Take Manhattan, but I like is that the one where they have like moving right along?
Yep.
Because I also think about
And
that
then
quite a bit.
then Big Bird is hitchhiking. And they said, "You want to lift?" He
I
says,
love
"No,
Big
I'm gonna go
Bird."
break into public television."
Yeah.
You were saying that like the peak Muppet time period was this period
Apex
where
Muppets.
obviously when Jim Henson was still alive.
Of course.
Now
I'm also a huge Dark Crystal fan. Huge Dark Crystal
there is
fan.
the thought exercise. Obviously, it will always be like the biggest tragedy in the world that Jim Henson died as young as he did. So there's always the thought experiment of like, what could have been? What like amazing puppet features and
Surely
shows?
not a Dark Crystal reboot with like a CGI nightmare.
Never saw that. I put that on my
Don't.
Netflix queue, and I'm all like, I'll get around to that.
watched
and
the first
10 years
episode.
later, still have not seen it.
That's a
First
weird one.
episode went, oh, no thank you.
But here's like the awkward thing is, certainly I'm not going to come on this podcast and say that it was good that Jim Henson died, but
Yeah, you don't want that out there.
because
Okay.
because he died
Okay, Bob Iger.
because he died when he did, we ended up getting Muppet Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure
Yeah.
Island directed by his son, Brian Henson. And I think those movies are stone cold fucking masterpieces.
Brian Henson had nothing to do with Muppet Wizard of Oz, though.
No, he
No,
didn't. No, not at
wisely.
all. No.
Together.
I have watched those two movies.
Christmas
Christmas
Carol.
Carol.
That's a
Treasure Island.
yearly.
So Christmas Carol is just hard stop my favorite movie of all time. There was a period where I kind of saw that as like an embarrassing choice, and I
don't think
and then,
that's
And then the
embarrassing at all.
internet, the rest of the internet caught up with me and is all like, "No, this is incredible." I'm like, "Aha! I've been saying that for years."
So, again, I was born in the 90s. And when I
Stop
saw that
reminding
movie,
us.
I saw that movie as a child, and it gave me so many nightmares.
It's scary.
Yeah.
There's
It
ghosts
gave me
in it.
nightmares, but when I tell you what shit gave me nightmares, you're gonna laugh at me.
It's not the Ghost of Christmas Future. It's
Okay, so it's Statler and Waldorf doing the Marley and Marley.
Yeah,
thing.
it's scary stuff.
When
he
he
turns
is the
into-
door
Yes!
knocker,
Yes,
that would piss my pants.
it's genuinely very frightening.
I was
Yes.
5 years old when I first saw that movie. It's so dark in the beginning.
This is
And
the
then-
thing: is Brian Henson turned out to be a spectacular director.
No, it's good now. But when I tell you all of my favorite movies, all of them
They're
gave
just
me nightmares.
childhood trauma. Yeah,
I realize that now, and I'm a horror fanatic now, which is crazy.
makes sense. It's all tied together.
And I look
Yeah.
back and I'm like, okay, again, all of my favorite childhood movies scared the fuck out of me in some kind of way. Like Fern Gully with the little oil monster, like everything. I love The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I feel like I'm the only kid who liked
Muppet
that
Treasure
movie.
Island, Fern Gully. I'm sensing a Tim Curry connection.
Ooh,
Here we go.
someday
Here-
we'll find it. The Tim Curry connection.
I found it. It's right here. The two of you. Jesus.
Hysterical. I didn't even think about that until right now. But no, any movie that like scared me. But
Yeah.
Michael Caine in that movie.
Michael Caine is the definitive Scrooge. I will hear.
He's the best Scrooge, yeah.
I will hear no argument to the contrary.
So everybody would probably be like, "Oh, I bet like Ghost of Christmas Future would have scared." No, that's just the fucking Grim Reaper. That doesn't freak me out. I hated the Ghost of of Christmas Past.
Yeah, the little floaty chick.
no,
Yeah.
no, not even that. Christmas Past. He
Oh, the
was
big guy?
tall and scary.
He's the least scary of all of them. What are you talking about?
I know.
He's
That's
great.
why I'm like, you're gonna be like, that's crazy, because he was just a big bombastic man with a bunch of
Yeah.
shit all over his coat,
He's
and
a
I
big
was
bear.
just like, that terrifies me.
The thing
as a
I like,
tiny child.
the thing I really like about
I don't like over enthusiastic extroverts in my space.
fair enough. Fair
okay.
enough. It's maybe a bit of the raw energy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I like the thing I
Terrifying
like
to
about
me.
Christmas Carol
He
is
scared
that
me. He was too big.
there are so many Christmas Carol specific Muppets in that. Like they
Yeah.
created so many new ones that are just in.
Yeah.
That, like it would have been so easy to just make like Ghost of Christmas Present like Sweetums or something, but
Yeah.
no, they made like three
also,
new guys. I love Sweetums.
Also, who
by the
gave
way.
me nightmares? One movie, or well, it was a short film. I would have much rather talked about this. Would have been the Muppet Princess and the Frog, because that
Right.
was
There's
a
whoa,
hard
I think
favorite of
that's
mine.
an old one. I believe that's the introduction of Sweetums. That's the first time
Yeah.
he ever
Oh.
appeared
Yeah,
in something.
so Sweetums, and here's my history of being terrified of Muppets.
Now,
So
Sweetums is a little more chill. He's not so
Sweetums is
extravagant.
so scary in that. If we could just talk about, I honestly, I don't
Welcome
even
back
want
to
to do
Sweetums Talk.
Wizard of Oz. I just want to talk about Muppet Prince and the Frog. But Princess and the Frog, the Sweetums character, he scared me so much, but not nearly as bad as the witch in it, who's like named like Grundhilda.
Oh, from Banjo-Kazooie?
Oh yeah, is that
Gruntilda?
All right, well, fair enough. One letter off.
It's something like that. It's Grinderfall. That's what her name is Grinderfall.
Wow. A core memory. No, I'll take your word for it.
For editing, we need to put Grinderfall as a picture. We just need to put her little face up there.
Okay.
And this is all staying in, by the way.
For editing, also put a terrified child up there.
Also, for editing, can we put in the laugh of the witch Gruntilda from the Banjo-Kazooie video game?
Can we also put that in there? Can we put that in there?
You know what also really helps editing? Having short episodes. So...
But anyways, Grinderfall was like the epitome of the most terrifying Muppet in the world, and she was so evil and mean. But that's also where we get Kermit's nephew, Robin.
Oh!
Who is nowhere to be seen in Muppets Wizard of Oz.
No, they abandoned that child.
And on that point, we should maybe move on to actually talk about today's deeply disappointing movie. So we'll take a little break.
I could endlessly talk about all of the puppets in the world that have scared the shit out of me.
They're freaky, man.
None of the puppets in this are scary, but there's some CGI nonsense near the end that
terrified
the hell out of me.
Don't get me started on Meet the Feebles.
All right. Well, we won't get you started. We're going to take a little trip over the rainbow, and when we come back, we're going to talk about this not terribly great ABC television movie from 2005. Stay tuned.
Sodomy, you might think very odd to me that I practice the art of sodomy.
And we're back.
Are we recording?
Yes, I got the tail end of that song.
The sodomy song?
That, of course, is from the Peter Jackson puppet film Meet the Feebles, so it's all thematically correct.
That's right.
It's all
the best kind of correct.
It's all within
Only watch that movie if you hate yourself.
Yeah. And if you hate yourself, I also recommend Muppets
Wizard of Oz. Exactly, yes. So Muppets Wizard of Oz is directed by Kirk R. Thatcher. I don't like his filmography, but I am a fan of his profile photo.
Oh, hell yeah! Ahoy, matey!
Oh,
he's a sea captain.
Yeah, that's the captain. So, what is his filmography?
So he's directed a bunch of Muppet movies, if you can freaking believe it. His other Muppet movies include It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie, A Muppet's Christmas Letters to Santa.
Oh, we watched that last Christmas.
And the aforementioned Muppet Haunted Mansion, as well as a bunch of Muppet media that got released directly to YouTube, including the fairly viral Muppet Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, I was gonna ask about
So yeah, so he's been sort of stewarding the Muppets in the aughts era.
That's a shame.
What I like to call the dead era for the Muppets. He also has a handful of acting credits, primarily
as a sea captain.
He's definitely beard forward. Kind of his most memorable role on camera is that he has a fairly memorable bit in Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home as a punk on a city bus that Kirk and Spock have to teach some manners to.
I do like his choker.
Yeah, so he's got a good look, and he's been dining out on that cameo and bad Muppets related stuff. He does also have a writing credit on Muppet Treasure Island, so he did one good thing that was Muppet related, but who knows how much of that.
He probably wrote the really unfunny bit with like all of the rats on the cruise ship. That's what I imagine.
Oh no, come on, all of it's great.
He wrote the worst joke, yeah. That's what he's really just taking this guy to task.
But where to begin? I mean, Christ, it's the Wizard of Oz. Now look,
what do we need to do? Does anyone out there not know the Wizard of Oz?
Now here is the one faint praise that I'm going to give this TV special. This is way more accurate to the original L. Frank Baum novel than it is than a lot of the other adaptations, notably the 1939 Judy Garland movie, which actually omits a lot from the book. So there's actually a lot of stuff that this movie does that's technically more accurate to the novel than some of the other adaptations.
I'm going to step in and say I am not a Wizard of Oz purist.
Me
I
neither,
really don't
but I
care.
am
now.
The fact that the 1939 movie has become the hypotext for like every other adaptation, and if you don't know what hypotext means, it means the reference in which every other adaptation is then therefore based off of, as opposed to the original work. So my biggest beef with any Wizard of Oz adaptation,
and there have been
normally
so fucking many
and there's
of them.
so many of them, and most of them are bad, is that they're trying to make a adaptation based off of the 1939 movie, which is not, like as you said, it is not source material accurate. The Wicked Witch never had like green skin. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff, and I do agree with you. As in, there are 4 witches. There is the Witch of the North.
I mean,
Witch of the East, Witch of the West, and Glinda.
Growing up, that always confused me because it's like, yeah, they mention that Glinda's the Good Witch of the North. There's the Wicked Witch of the West. The witch that gets smushed is the Witch of the East. And it's like, even as a kid, I'm all like, where's the 4th one? There's 4 directions.
Yeah.
I
feel like that's kind of where it ends a little bit.
Well, I'll point out. I'll point out what they added.
I feel one of the only good like Frank L. Baum source material adaptations is A Return to Oz with
definitely,
where it's creepy.
That is also that's a terrifying movie to watch.
Now, here's the interesting thing, and any discussion about the Wizard of Oz needs to bring this up at some point in time, is that L. Frank Baum wrote like
A bunch of books.
He sure did.
And Return to Oz is kind of the only time they've ever tried to adapt another one. And it was such a spectacular failure. It's kind of a bit of a cult classic now.
But it is a cult classic.
It's definitely like a wild, kind of like
Ozma and all of these like
thing to
crazy
watch.
random
But
little
it
guys.
failed so spectacularly that no one has ever attempted.
It's scary. Who wants to watch a little girl almost get like electroshock therapy? That's terrifying.
Look, I guarantee you that wasn't in the book. That was maybe another problem that adaptation had.
Why are we taking Dorothy into the
I mean,
that's awful.
Yeah.
Now, I think like the main problem with trying to do like new takes on Wizard of Oz and why things like James Franco's Oz the Great and Powerful.
Oh, that movie's so bad.
And I know some people are fans of this, but
Wicked.
I despise Wicked. Not even
I
just
have
the
no
movies.
opinions on
I've just never liked it to begin with.
Did you read the book?
I did not read the book. I've heard the book is very good, but I've heard that
the book is crazy and psycho and weird and like
if they had adapted that, I might have been into it. But like they made a musical out of it. I think the musical is dumb. So
I'm gonna encourage you and everyone listening to go and look up the lore of the actual book, and you're gonna tell me right now that Wicked was
I know it's crazy and dark and stuff, and there's like sequel
there's like
books.
some furry nonsense going on.
Of course there is.
There's a whole bunch of things going on.
The large problem is
I'm just gonna say, for you saying like you don't like Wicked, we've just lost my sisters as listeners.
Well, there we go.
I saw the Wicked, the first half of it.
You mean the first movie?
Yeah, on
Part 1.
Amazon, just for the sake of doing it. And the entire time I was watching it, I was like, this would actually be better on stage. This is terrible as a movie. I don't know. I think I would probably rather watch the
And then
stage
absolutely
version.
no one liked the second one, which stands to reason why
I never saw it.
no one has ever adapted a musical and split Act 1 and Act 2 into 2 different movies before, because that's the dumbest idea ever.
And it was also a CGI nightmare slot movie. What bothered me a lot about it, just as a musical, was that when we were watching, all of the musical numbers, you can't really see what the dancers are doing because it keeps hard cutting around, and it doesn't feel like a production. It feels like I'm watching 2 bitches sing at each other, and then everybody else is, and they're all of the actual talent is doing their best in the background, and we don't even get to like linger on it. All of my favorite musical numbers, we've always gotten to see the ensemble do.
It's a classic case of a
it's
modern.
It's not good. It's just not a good musical.
It's a classic case of a modern movie musical where they have all this choreo and all of like this set dressing and everything, but
and they don't use
but the
it.
cinematography fails so spectacularly, so you can't actually see any of it.
And it still looks like a CGI nightmare slop. So it's like you can always tell that there's like a stupid little green screen in the background. And
all right, that's all I want to talk about Wicked, because that movie actually really pisses me off.
That movie blows.
Well, on the subject of Wizard of Oz, though, that's a great subject for like the Muppets to tackle. I know they've done
Could
like
have been incredible. Could have been fucking incredible.
it's a perfect story. You get to showcase a bunch of the crazy Muppets. I always like adaptations when these say, how are you going to put like your creative stamp on these hallmarks of the property? Muppets. I know there was like a Muppet Babies episode where they're Muppets.
Been incredible.
Yeah. So like, where did this thing fall apart?
It's actually kind of amazing that this thing.
Made in heaven.
It's actually kind of amazing that this thing sucks as much as it does, because you feel like that's like the softest pitch in the world.
It's
right?
such a layup, right? Yeah.
But yeah, and I just think the main problem with the failures of all other Wizard of Oz adaptations that are, adapting elements of the first book and aren't trying to adapt any of the sequels is just the unfortunate fact that the Judy Garland movie just knocked it out of the park in the 1930s. They just don't need to. There's no perfecting that.
Yeah.
So all they can do is just repeat what they did before.
That is where I'm going back to when I say the hypotext is the original Judy Garland movie, right? Like that they made, and it's kind of like, why not just make? It's just such a vast expanse. It's such a rich like world. It's so lived in the Frank L. Baum like written universe, and also a lot of those were written posthumously by his family members.
Yeah, it's a real Dune situation where there's a bunch of books, but none of them are canon.
But they're not bad. Is the problem?
But the Judy Garland movie is just like so iconic.
But again,
it's a movie that everyone has seen.
The Wicked Witch of the West doesn't have green skin. Like there's so many different things that they could have done.
So she has green skin, and the slippers are ruby red because they wanted to take advantage of the Technicolor technology of the time. I would go as far as to say like that Judy Garland movie is one of the only movies that I would consider like sacred in show business that they will never ever attempt to remake. They'll do like dumb spin-off sequels. They'll do a sequel.
They'll do
like
trying
dumb
to remake it, except
prequel.
they can't like technically.
Yeah, they can't nail it because
they captured lightning in a bottle, and you just can't do it again. Like they made it.
But they tried with the Muppets.
But here's the thing, though, is the original one. As I don't even need to give any lore. It's been written about. It's been talked about. But it took like 4 different directors to make the original Wizard of Oz work.
It's amazing that it turned out as good as it did.
A ridiculous amount of abuse towards Judy Garland.
Oh yeah.
So
and also like
do we really want to try to do that?
No, sure, and of course like the first actor playing the Tin Man got like cancer from like the lead paint that they just poured on him.
It was aluminum, and he had an allergic reaction to it. Yeah.
Okay.
But
the 30s.
All right.
The 30s.
So the movie opens straight up with like a music number. Like shockingly starts with a music number.
I'm just
no lead up to it.
And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say the best musical number in the movie.
The whole movie, yeah.
And it's not even that good. It's just like a pretty standard pop R&B jam performed by our Dorothy, Ashanti.
And then we don't hear from her again until the very end of the movie.
For her singing.
Well, singing. No, she sings like the
no,
group.
She doesn't.
She sings the group song when they're all like friends and stuff.
I was keeping time, but also my first note was, what the fuck is this picture quality?
Yeah, this movie looks terrible.
Yeah.
And I get that they're trying to like, ooh, we swap it over when we get to Oz, but it's like, it still doesn't
No,
it's
colorful garbage when they swap it over to Oz.
But they don't do the black and white thing when they're in Kansas. They do like sort of a gray.
Would have been markedly.
They just have muted colors everywhere.
But it was bad because it looked like a terrible soap opera saturation of it. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was weirdly grainy too.
I legitimately thought that the version that I had, like,
yes.
I paid $49.99 on YouTube for this, by the way.
They ought to pay you $4.99 to watch this movie.
No, I thought I got a bad version too.
Money back.
But no, this is just a very poor looking movie.
Looks
yes, but we have our lead actress here, and yes, of course, filling out the holy trinity of Muppet co-stars: Michael Caine, Tim Curry, Ashanti. Of course, naturally. I'm not familiar with Ashanti as a singer. I don't really know. All I really have to judge is the performance she gives in this movie, and it's not good. I found her quite irritating and bad.
Look. Okay, so Brandy had done
Cinderella,
and they were
She cast Brandy. That would have been great.
Well,
she's way too old. Yeah.
They were going to, and they made a joke about that in the movie, actually. But they were trying to make Ashanti the next Brandy. But unfortunately, they did not let this bitch sing through I have way more notes about that as we go along. But
Are we ever going to get to this movie?
Ashanti should be singing every 10 minutes.
again, my note for later was mostly just, it seemed like she was acting in a completely different movie to everyone around her. Like, she was trying to be, and again, an actress is only as good as their direction, because I really just felt like she was being told to be, oh, sweet little whatever. Like, she didn't understand her co-stars. Like, the whole thing with Michael Caine and Tim Curry is that they know, well, as the joke says, that,
Michael Caine treats them like other actors.
Tim Curry is a Muppet.
Yeah.
Like, so, and Ashanti is just this young lady. I think she was like 19 when they filmed this. She was really young and only just kind of coming up in her career.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a lot of fucking, what I would say, Ashanti L's that were not necessarily her fault. I think it was poor direction. Because again, the whole time she's acting as if she's in a totally different movie.
And look, I made the joke, but it's obviously Michael Caine and Tim Curry are actors of a certain age, and you mentioned Ashanti is a singer. She's young. Maybe she didn't necessarily have like the necessary chops to do this, but
acting opposite a Muppet is gotta be
intimidating.
It's gotta be a little intimidating, and because she's so young in this movie, I gotta imagine she didn't grow up with the Muppets, so she doesn't understand like how much of this is a big deal. She's never seen other actors, play along with the Muppets that way. So,
but the material they gave her was also, we can agree.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the issue with like this character of Dorothy. Like, I'm just gonna keep going back to like the Judy Garland movie because that's the only Oz thing I'm familiar with.
Nobody was slapping Ashanti and giving her like uppers and downers all day long.
Right.
That's the problem.
That would have gone.
That was the problem. There's no child abuse in this.
But the Dorothy in that movie, she just wants to get out of Kansas. She wants to like explore the world. She wants to keep Toto safe from like that mean woman. Ashanti Dorothy wants fame. She wants to skip town.
She wants to be Ashanti.
She wants to be Ashanti. She wants to be a pop star. And her ticket to stardom is to audition for the Muppet Show, a show that's about fucking Muppets. Sorry, lady, you can't get on the Muppet Show. You're not a famous person, and you're not a Muppet.
Well, no,
they were hosting for an all-American talent in
like a Star Search or something.
And of course, Jameson, the Muppet Show stars the Muppets, but there's always one human in every episode.
One famous human.
She was 5 minutes late.
Yeah, but it's the Muppet Star Search. This is them like trying out new material. They've run out of guest stars. All the celebrities have guested on the Muppet Show already. They need to create new celebrities. That's what we're doing
for
here.
All-American talent, and then not Paul F. Tompkins. I don't know who that guy was, but he's
the old British guy.
Jill Chesterton from Frasier. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. That's who that was.
Well, that's the character.
That's like the
but
only
he's
other
doing that voice. And
Can't
everything.
stress enough how much I was born in 1994.
That was when Frasier aired. That was
show ended in like
the apex of Frasier's
I think the show ended in 2004.
Well, fine,
whatever.
Okay, so this Dorothy works at
Queen Latifah's diner,
at Auntie M's diner, and yes,
David Alan Grier.
David Alan Grier. Now here's an interesting bit of trivia. How familiar are you two with The Wiz?
I saw it.
Oh, I'm familiar with The Wiz.
Yeah. So The Wiz is like a whole other thing. That
The Wiz is awesome, by the way.
We really can't get into it, but yes, The Wiz is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's its own movie.
We're talking about like good adaptations.
Yeah, that's one of the best ones. And this shares a bit of DNA with The Wiz in the sense that Dorothy is a black actress.
Yeah, happy Black History Month.
Oh yeah,
everybody. There we go.
We did it.
We tied it. We chose this movie on purpose. Yes, we're allies. So yeah, this movie feels like a little more like The Wiz than some of the other adaptations.
Looks like it's trying its hardest to be The Wiz and failing miserably.
The Wiz
is trying its hardest to be the Wizard of Oz and failing miserably.
The live action
doing everything
Wiz
and failing at
with
it.
Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow is an insane movie that we really don't have time to go into right now.
What's your point though about David Alan Grier?
So I think it was either ABC or CBS or NBC, one of the big TV things. They had a period where they were doing these live musicals. Mm-hmm. They did it for Hairspray. They did it for they did it for like Grease, a bunch of them. They did a live musical version of The Wiz. This is one of two adaptations of The Wizard of Oz that Queen Latifah and David Alan Grier have been in. Huh. They play Aunt Em and Uncle Henry in this one, and in The Wiz Live, David Alan Grier plays the lion, and Queen Latifah is the Wiz herself.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just think that's interesting that they have I haven't seen that. It has to be better than this.
Anything's better than this.
Anything's better than this.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting that they have
That's crazy.
kind of an interesting Wizard of Oz connection here.
Yeah.
But yes, so Dorothy works at Aunt Em's diner. Queen Latifah is super surly, isn't really giving a lot of love and support to her niece. Ashanti has kind of a revealing one of many revealing outfits that she wears all the way throughout
All her outfit
this.
is revealing is just her midriff.
So, how do I look? You look like one of them girls in one of them rap videos.
Orders up!
Uncle Henry, what did you think of my outfit?
You look like one of them girls in a rap video.
Uncle Henry's a little too supportive of the way that she looks.
Yeah.
David Allen Greer, God bless him, is trying really hard. He's throwing out
He's doing so much
he's
heavy
doing
lifting, trying to
yeoman's work. He's throwing out a lot of improv that just isn't working. He's trying to distract Queen Latifah. At one moment he says, "Have you ever had an African American avocado? It's orange and it tastes like peanut butter." And I'm just like, David, what are we doing?
They had no idea how to end that fucking scene.
You read that script and you said, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think that was written down. I think David Allen Greer came up with that on the moment.
We need a button for this. I got you.
And what did the guy say? Something about Girls Gone Wild.
Well, Rizzo says this.
Rizzo
So
says
yes,
that.
so
How hard is it to find an all-American girl? And he says, "Well, I don't know. How about Girls Gone Wild?"
So-
and then they drop a Napster reference too, or
Yep.
something.
I said also Napster reference.
Yeah.
Right
I feel like for 2005 that was even late for a Napster reference then.
Yeah.
I feel like
I
that was
feel like Girls Gone Wild reference in a children's movie is crazy.
That's for the adults.
yeah.
No, I know. Okay, so
The adults who aren't watching
can
this.
I segue for 2 seconds
Oh,
about
please.
Shrek? So I feel like Shrek really changed the game when it came to
Interesting.
referential
Yeah.
humor that was topical that the adults would really enjoy. And Shrek had come out around 2001, so Shrek 2 was already out when this movie was out. And it worked really well in Shrek because it was written by people who are actually funny. And B, it wasn't 100% everything referenced from that decade, right? And so what I think this movie falls into is the Shrek problem of all these movies looking at the success of Shrek, and again, that making these jokes that soar over the children's head, except this one fails miserably as it does with every other fucking thing in this movie, where it just doesn't make the jokes funny and they're just super blatant and in your face. Just directly referencing Girls Gone Wild, directly referencing Napster and other things as we'll go along.
Yeah, we could keep going.
Yeah,
just
it's very topical.
she gets the silver slippers and Miss Piggy goes, "They're Manolos."
I also have that written down there.
There's a Passion of the Christ reference.
I was
Yeah.
also going to go there. Yeah. So there's all these references that would only be funny to quote unquote the parents. Here's the thing is when I first watched this movie was on cable. It was a whole television event.
Wow, so you saw this when this aired.
So,
this
yeah.
passed me entirely by. I did not know this was a thing at
Yeah,
all.
okay, so I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but no, so I watched this on cable, and I will tell you the exact moment where we switched it off. We'll get there. But no, there was so many of these jokes, and I remember watching it with my mom, and I personally I didn't find it funny. There was not a single joke in it at the time that I could laugh at. I just didn't think it was funny at all, and I'm like, why is this Muppet movie so terrible? But no, it wasn't funny to either of us. My mother definitely did not appreciate any of these weird adult jokes that weren't funny. And again, she's a Shrek fan. We're all Shrek fans, right?
We are all Shrek fans.
I'm
We
not.
are
That
all
is
of
true.
us Shrek
Yes.
fans. But again, they did such a good job of doing grown-up humor that would just fly over the children's heads. And I think that there were so many other movies, and unfortunately this one falls into the category of trying their hardest to, again, do the Shrek thing and just not understanding how that worked at all. And I think this movie suffered badly.
No, I
from
think
it.
that's actually a really interesting point. Yeah, this definitely does feel like it's trying to get some of that residual Shrek energy, but I think you're right. It misses the fact that Shrek wasn't just throwing references at the. It actually had
They made them
they constructed some
part of
jokes
the
around
plot.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And characters that we like, and
Yeah.
the thing that this is falling back on is we do like these characters, but they're reintroducing them as new characters, so we have to kind of get an entry point for.
It just felt sort of like a bunch of unfunny Family Guy takeaway vignettes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
which also was out at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a tornado hits Kansas.
So Dorothy has an audition for the Muppets. Aunt Em won't let her go. Uncle Henry lets her sneak away. She doesn't get there in time. The Muppets are getting onto their
But she
tour
manages
bus.
to get her demo disc
Yep.
to them.
And that's when Piggy drops like a Napster reference and
Yeah.
whatever. And Piggy,
Well,
of course, is
let's do it
being
on
a little
Napster.
bitch about everything.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not trying to let Ashanti be part of the Muppets.
She's
even
not
though
about to be upstaged by some girl.
Kermit seems susceptible to it, but of course he's
not wearing the pants in that relationship.
He never wears pants.
No.
So they go away.
The bus drives off, and then a lone tumblewheel goes by, and the camera pans over, and it's the guy just fanning it, and I'm like, okay, well, that's an attempt at humor.
It's an attempt at humor,
Yeah.
but then of course they explain the joke.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that immediately. So she goes back to her double wide trailer where she lives with Aunt Em, Uncle Henry, and of course Toto, the King Prawn. And of course we all know where this is going.
Man, all right, all cards on the table. I hate Pepe the Prawn.
I
He is a
wouldn't say hate.
divisive Muppet character.
I don't like him
for
in
sure.
this movie.
I certainly don't like him in this one.
This is certainly the worst Pepe has ever been. Yes.
The reason I don't like him is
A
that
little
I didn't.
racist, also.
He's fairly racist in the same way that like Pepe Le Pew is like he's a fucking predator. But I didn't grow up with Pepe the Prawn. He was not on the Muppet Babies.
neither.
He wasn't on Muppets Christmas Carol. He was not on the Muppet Show.
Nope.
Where the fuck did this guy come from?
I have
he
the answer.
was in Treasure Island.
I have the
He
answer.
was?
He was done in Treasure
But
Island.
he just wasn't a main character.
Okay, so I have the answer for this. Right in the tail end of the 90s, the Muppets attempted another return to television with a show called Muppets Tonight, which was another variety program that was a
not
little
heard of
more 90s skewed. I think it only lasted for one season. I watched all of it. I was obsessed, but it was the Muppets trying to be hip and edgy and 90s, and they introduced a bunch of new characters, including Pepe the King Prawn. Now, what's interesting about Muppets Tonight is when Pepe debuted, it was as part of a duo. He was teamed up with another Muppet who has since gone completely missing in action, an elephant named Seymour, and they were the two.
I remember Seymour.
They were the two cooks of the Muppet Studio or whatever, which is weird because they already had a chef. But anyway, they worked at the diner or whatever, and they were constantly trying to get on the show. And they had a little act. They went, "I'm Seymour, I'm Pepe, we're two of a kind." This is all in my brain, Jameson.
and I get the joke. It's like one's
and
an
there's-
elephant, one's a prawn. Yeah.
That answers your question. That's where Pepe is from. For some reason, they really liked him. And he carried over into another.
No, the rest of the Muppet media. So now he's just like a recurring
He
character.
was a background in Treasure Island, though. I do remember.
Okay. I don't care for the character. He's new to me.
No, me neither.
I'm like, who is this? Like this weird guy who's like flirting with all the women.
It's just creepy. Can I also just mention really quickly the only joke in the entire movie that made me laugh? There is when Auntie Em and Uncle Henry are talking to Dorothy, and Auntie Em is getting in her face.
Give up
and
on
they're
your
having
dreams.
whatever.
Meanwhile, a
When
tornado
they're-
siren's blaring in the background. And I'm like, we
so
gotta go.
There's a TV going, and it has like the weather report.
This was a good joke.
This was the only one that made me it was just an exhale of air out of my nostrils, but it got a good laugh where they're talking about the twister and the levels, and the weatherman says everybody needs to move their right foot from blue to right foot yellow as a
As the
twister
warning
in the
sign.
board game.
Yeah.
Joke, and that's the only joke in the entire movie that made me laugh.
We've gone from DEFCON right foot green to DEFCON right foot yellow. Yes. Clever.
Yeah.
A funny joke that someone wrote down into this movie.
I'm like, damn, that we could have just,
More of that, please.
finished there.
Yeah.
you know?
But yes, in this adaptation, Toto is a king prawn. What a shame that the Muppets don't have an established dog character that they can just use.
or more than one that we could have used. And also, piano playing dog could have been like.
You mean Ralph? One of the
Ralph?
one of my best guys, and he's just always doing this.
I don't think he's with the Electric Mayhem.
He is nowhere to be seen in this movie.
No.
Now, I know the reason for this as well, too. Rolf is one of the oldest Muppets. He actually predates Kermit. And
I'm not surprised.
by his own account, it was Jim Henson's favorite Muppet to perform.
Oh, that's
So
sweet.
when Jim Henson passed away, Rolf went through a bit of a soft retirement. He is he can be seen playing the piano in Christmas Carol, but there was a period where Rolf just didn't speak, and I don't believe he had a line until the Jason Segel Muppet movie. So that's why he's not in this,
good for
even
him.
though it would make a ton of sense for him to be in it, given the fact that he is a dog.
Yeah.
It would be, it's the most softball fucking thing that they could have done, and they managed to complicate things.
But
by
no, they gotta prop up Peppy.
There are also other dog characters.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, there's a lot
There
of
are dog.
them.
There are tons of dog Muppets.
Yeah, that they didn't even need to use Rolf necessarily. Just any fucking dog that. I know.
No,
you know
but-
what? You know what? I understand. Like, this could have been funny. Pepe could have been funny.
Pepe has been funny in small
He has
amounts.
a good joke in the movie.
There
but-
are so many parts of this entire fucking movie where I go, man, that could have been funnier if they just had a better writer. I'm like, that bit could have slapped.
Yeah.
Too bad.
So
bad.
sad.
So-
So a tornado hits Kansas.
They run to the storm cellar, but Dorothy can't be without her beloved king prawn
So she runs
that
back.
she rescued from
Hey,
from
they
Uncle
established
Henry's.
that's her
from a
only,
crawdad bake.
That's her
only
yes,
friend.
someone who looks like Ashanti has no friends. Absolutely, but
Yeah, so the
Well,
tornado.
what if she's mean?
she could
She
be
is a bit of a diva.
She is, yeah. She
Yeah.
she
What
maybe
if she
learns a
doesn't have
lesson.
friends 'cause
She
she's
does
not
sort of
very
learn a
nice
lesson over the course.
She's got
of
a
this.
like kind of a snarky response to every character she meets. But yeah, the tornado comes by, it picks up the trailer in a very bad CGI shot, and it's like rocking and flipping her upside down in the wind. But of course, in the set, she's just kind of whoa. And they land in Oz, where they crank up the saturation on everything.
They don't fix the fucking cinematography though. Like
No.
this entire thing is just blurry like
Terrible.
throughout.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it,
for
it-
sure.
It has the you said soap opera earlier. Yeah, it has the look of like a cheap daytime
It's
soap
it's
opera.
very
But then
fuzzy.
we get to Munchkinland, and it immediately starts out a CGI nightmare slop. There's some bits that, like, again, when we settle the camera, when we have all of the actors out, you can see the little definition of the houses and stuff. But when you first show up, it is instantly.
Well, also in this moment, just before like Ashanti almost drops like the "We're not in Kansas anymore"
Yeah.
reference, that's when Pepe has like my favorite gag in the movie.
Sure.
Where he just turns to the camera and says, "If you have Dark Side of the Moon, play it now."
That was good.
And I was
They
like,
had to include it.
I was
They
like,
were- it actually would have been more of a
I
failure if they
actually,
did it.
I
Yeah.
actually had considered doing it, but I was just like, I'm trying to just get fucking through this.
to get through this, yeah.
You would have been focused on the fucking good album
Yes.
rather
Yeah.
than the terrible movie.
Oh
yeah.
man, I'll tell you later. Like, it was such a fight for my attention span with this movie.
So we are introduced to the Munchkins. Of course, they are the rats, and Rizzo is sort of like their leader.
the
or
Terrible
whatever.
costuming for them, also. Really boring.
It's just rat costume.
There's not much you can work with. They're very
Yes, you
small
can.
Muppets.
Yeah.
You kind of can't get
I
that.
love
Why
many.
it's
Rizzo, though.
disappointing. Like, it was just the little costumes were also like just blue and yellow, and it's like the Munchkins are supposed to be colorful and whimsical, and there was no whimsy at all. To be
No, because
seen.
they're wise guy New York rats.
yeah.
Hey, what are you doing?
We're
over
not
here?
little people. We're not rats. We're munchkins.
We
yeah.
watched
God.
Goyle's Gone
We watched
Wild.
Girls Gone Wild on a satellite TV after we're done downloading Dark Side of the Moon on Napster.
And this is where we are introduced to the fact that all four witches, yes, we got all
Yeah.
four witches this time, are of course played by Miss Piggy.
Multiple roles. She would
Multiple
have
roles.
loved that.
She's definitely hamming it up. Thank you. Good night, everybody. And yes, we see.
But we get to watch her die
Yes,
several times. in this
Witch of the
movie.
East isn't quite dead yet. She does,
Try to power lift the house.
She does have that Miss Piggy strength, so of course she lifts the trailer up, and then it does eventually squash her, making this, I think,
And everybody is just cool with it. They're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
well, they
that's fine.
always in every adaptation they're always cool with the witch dying because she
Yeah,
sucks.
but she's holding it up, and then she's like,
Yeah.
and then Dorothy's like, should we go help her? And then just it slams down on
but
her.
this
I'm like-
is
so this is the only iteration where Dorothy actually is a cold-blooded murderer, because in past iterations it's like, oh, I'm so sorry, my house dropped on top of her, where it's like, oh, my house dropped on her, oh, I have the option to help her out, I'm just not gonna I'm just not.
I'm pretty sure she's dead.
Yeah.
By that time. I'm pretty sure there's nothing Dorothy could have done.
Look,
in that scenario.
I don't blame her. I'm just saying, this is the first adaptation, I think, where Dorothy, she did it.
Yeah.
And it's also she saw Piggy
Munchkin
and she
Village was an inside
She was
job.
aiming for it. Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
inside job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miss Piggy's like the good witch. She says, "Hey, take those slippers, which are actually heels."
A second double wide has hit the Wicked Witch of the East.
Now, this is not. Piggy does eventually play Glinda, but this is not Glinda. This is Natty Poo.
Natty Poo,
who indeed is the fourth witch who only appears in the book. They conflated the character in the Judy Garland versions for it to be Glinda both times. She doesn't show up in most adaptations.
I wonder why they did that.
I think it maybe has something to do with the fact that her
Brevity?
name is Natty Poo.
It's also not. That was entirely made up by the Muppets. All of the Wicked Witch names are made up by the Muppets.
No, Natty Poo is from the book.
Is Natty Poo actually from
Indeed.
the book?
I looked up.
Oh.
I did all my own sourcing before we got here.
You know what? That's super fair, because if you had told me that they had made that one up, because they did.
But East and West
and...
don't have names.
Okay,
but
so
the Good Witches have names.
It's not like Alfalfa or wherever the fuck.
It is not Alfalfa. No.
Okay.
It is not
Alfalfa.
Yeah.
It is not Alfalfa.
From Little Rascals. Yeah.
But she gets the silver slippers.
How old are you again?
She gets the silver slippers, and yes, they are silver because only the Judy Garland one is allowed to have the ruby. That's like a contractual thing where it's
that's a copyright issue.
That's a copyright thing.
Right.
Like anyone can adapt the Wizard of Oz, but those shoes gotta be silver. They can't be red. They own the copyright for red shoes.
Okay.
It's very weird. No one really knows why.
Can I just say, not to be like anachronistic on this stupid, bad, horrible movie.
I thought you were going to say stupid, bad podcast, but by all means, go ahead.
No, but with this movie, like, are they really the silver slippers? Or are they more like the bedazzled slippers? Can we consider like little jewels?
Those are some
silver?
crunchy heels. Is what they are. Yeah, they didn't look comfortable, and indeed there are many jokes about how they aren't comfortable.
Well, she's got to walk on a fucking brick road. All those things.
So Dorothy does not want to take the slippers in this, and then Witch of the North says they're Manolos. And as a person who had a very fashionable mother who did have a pair of silver Manolo Blahniks, I went to look them up because I was like, I don't believe that, and they are indeed not actually.
That wasn't a tie-in. Manolo didn't do like a special Muppets Wizard of Oz.
They surely did not, because you can.
That's just leaving money on the table.
You can use the name, but like, nope, they were not really Manolo Blahniks, and they don't look like them either. They look cheap and terrible.
Of course, they don't look like Manolo. It's fucking Muppets Wizard of Oz. They're not going to get actual Manolos and bedazzle them for this.
They could have.
They didn't have the budget.
They had the budget for Quentin Tarantino, but we could have gotten. We could have gotten real Manolos at the very least.
All right, so Dorothy's on her merry way, and she meets the Scarecrow, who's played by Kermit. At this point,
this is the nice thing about doing this movie, Jameson, is we really can just breeze through the plot because it's
the Wizard of Oz.
Fucking Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
The one positive thing, I do genuinely quite like this a bit. It would have been so easy just to retrofit a Kermit the Frog puppet into a Scarecrow outfit.
Oh, yeah.
What I like is they changed the texture of his face. And it is notably like a sackcloth bag. And it's all like, that's a detail that I wasn't expecting this cheap as balls movie
they made
to
really
do.
Good puppets for this movie. However, I would have made Kermit the Tin Man. I would have made Gonzo the Scarecrow, and I would have made Kermit the Tin Man.
Okay, but for what reason?
Gonzo's a fucking idiot. And Kermit...
He's a daredevil, is what.
Yeah, he's a stuntman.
And he thinks with his heart.
But he loves birds.
Yeah, he loves Camilla. He loves one bird in particular.
So that's why he should be the Scarecrow, is because like he scares the crows, but he loves the chicken. And also, I think I think Kermit would have been a better Tin Man because he loves Piggy. And what if like Piggy like took his heart away? Yeah, I don't know. I just think because Gonzo's such a dumbass canonically. And Kermit is intelligent, incredibly intelligent, and is such a lover.
I think
the Dreamers and me.
I think this is Gonzo slander, and I don't know if I'll stand for it.
I love Gonzo. Gonzo's my favorite Muppet.
So it's established in the real world that the Muppets are these celebrities, that they have their TV show and everything. She goes to the Land of Oz, and she meets all these Muppet characters. And at no point does she ever go like, Kermit?
Isn't this interesting?
Fozzie?
Well, because look,
they're different guys.
We're not doing a direct adaptation of the Judy Garland movie, so we're missing that beat.
Even though we're concluding everything visually from that
we're
movie.
missing that beat where she meets characters played by the same people in the earlier thing, except for Kermit and Piggy, who she meets for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have an earlier moment with Fozzie. She doesn't have an earlier moment with Gonzo.
Well,
so she doesn't... I mean, she obviously knows who those people are because she lives in a world where the Muppets exist.
But, I mean, she has like a very heated argument with Queen Latifah, and I know that would be like sort of an interesting twist on the tale, where, okay, well, now it's people she knows in the real world, they're playing Oz characters. I thought for sure Queen Latifah was going to be the Wicked Witch.
Sometime. Yeah, that would have been sick.
Why is not Queen? She would probably love to play the Wicked Witch.
Piggy has every role except for Queen Latifah. Yeah, because we don't have a... I just realized we don't have a equivalent for, it's Mrs...
Whatever, the dog rapper or whatever.
Yeah, there's like an evil person who wants to kill the dog.
My God.
There's also the wizard archetype who was like the traveling guy. This is all missing from the movie.
So the stupid British dude who's like blowing the tumbleweeds,
That's
I
all we
immediately
get.
thought that was going to be the wizard because I never actually watched this movie all the way through originally.
You didn't get the amazing reveal of who the wizard is played by.
Yeah, well, she's hold that.
I will say though, for like Miss Piggy's character, her wigs look infinitely better than Ashanti's. I don't know what was going on.
She actually demanded that, actually. She saw Ashanti's wig and she's all like,
I don't know what was going on, but I could see her entire, it's called the kitchen, when you can like see the underside of the wig, and it's like you can see the entire like edge of it, whatever. I was like, how are we giving this Muppet better wigs than
a human?
Again, it was in her writer.
Yeah, Miss Piggy probably demanded that. Yeah. So she gets Kermit and says like, he does the whole spiel about wanting a brain and everything, and so they continue the journey. And at that point, I just wrote down, are there going to be no other songs in this movie?
That's where I was like...
It's a fucking Muppet musical, I thought.
The whole point is that Dorothy, Ashanti, wants to be a famous singer, and we don't hear her sing. So the last time we heard her sing was at the beginning of the movie. The very
beginning of the movie. The movie starts with a song.
And then we get to fucking Gonzo. Or sorry, the Tin Man.
The Tin Thing.
No, sorry, the Tin Thing.
Yeah.
Let's throw some respect on his name.
Who lives in like this fucking out in the wood, like the kind of place that Jesse Ventura would think the government controls the weather from.
I'm just gonna say it. I kind of like what they're doing with the Tin Man
I kind of like it.
It's interesting and new.
Yeah.
I agree with that because I'm like, okay, here is where I see where the movie had its potential. And also that's the callback to all of the Munchkins having satellite dishes on.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the Tin Man in this the Tin Thing, sorry.
He's more of a robot.
He's more of a robot, and he lays out his backstory pretty quickly. He used to be a research assistant for the Wicked Witch, and then he asked for a day off, and she turned him into a heartless robot, and he's no longer in love with his girlfriend Camilla,
the chicken,
and he also is like plugged into like
a surveillance system.
So he knows everything. He's like omniscient.
He's a supercomputer.
Big brother.
And this is actually a thing that got my wheels turning up. This is like a terrible Muppet property, but it does a few interesting things with The Wizard of Oz. And I think one thing that I always thought would be interesting is that, okay, Dorothy's companions, the whole moral of everything is that like everything that you're looking for, you had it with you all along. Yeah. But one thing that I've always thought would be interesting for companions is everything that they're all lacking, one of the other companions makes up for. So the Scarecrow doesn't really have any brains, but Tin Man's a supercomputer, so he's able to teach Scarecrow a thing or two. And while Scarecrow himself may not be very smart, he doesn't consider consequences, so maybe he's a little bit more courageous. He charges head first, he's the first one to help Dorothy and everything. And in that way, he inspires Cowardly Lion on how to be more bold. And, Cowardly Lion, maybe he's too shy to ask out a female lion that he's very sweet on, but he's also like a poet at heart, and he writes all these beautiful love ballads. And so he teaches the Tin Man a thing or two of what it means to be in love.
Yeah, I think you did actually explain the point of the original movie.
Yeah.
Just for anyone who wasn't familiar with the story.
I saw it once when I was a fucking kid, right?
Look, okay, so what I really liked, though, is Gonzo, because he's supposed to be the Tin Thing, right? And they ask him, like, he's like, oh, I'm so smart. He's hooked up to the mainframe by his nose. And he's like, ask me any question in the universe. I know everything. And of course, they have to make it like some weird misogynistic joke with Pepe. And he asks,
what is the deal with women, eh? Tell me about it.
No, he asked, why are women so confusing? And Gonzo said, women aren't confusing. Men are just simple. And at that point in the movie, I was like, snaps.
Yeah.
I was like,
Gonzo
okay, I was waiting for some weird naughties version of like some stupid misogynistic whatever.
Bitches be shopping.
He's like, no.
Or he like breaks down and like his head like explodes and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Some stupid ass joke where he's like, no, actually you're just stupid.
Hey, speaking of stupid ass jokes, so the Tin Thing decides to join them on their thing.
Yeah.
And then he says like, oh, I need to grab my cell phone, which is where he unplugs from the computer, grabs the classic classic Gonzo knows that we all screws it back on. Toto, the King Prawn, then says, "That is your cell phone, eh? What are these here?" And he starts fiddling with some things on Gonzo's chest. And then Gonzo the Great actually says the words,
They're my nipples.
Yeah.
Okay, so now this is the point in the movie when I watched it originally that me and my mother turned it off.
Yep, that makes a perfect amount of sense.
I remember
it's a good quitting
this
point.
so specifically. It stands out in my memory of like my mom going, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, what
And
is
then I
the-
was just,
what are
like,
they doing to the
turning it off.
Muppets?
And then Pepe runs away and pointedly says, "I feel dirty."
He didn't just run away. There's like a whole.
It's a whole gay panic thing, of course,
The bit
yeah.
goes on for way too long, where he twists the nips and then he turns around super dramatically, but it's
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
dead quiet, and then he runs out, and it's like it's not funny.
When I was mentioning when I watched the Muppet movie and the Rainbow Connection came on, that was when my inner child was at its most powerful and strong. This moment is when my inner child was shot point blank in the head.
When he
This
grew
is-
up.
He's dead now. Thank you, Muppet Wizard of Oz. I really didn't need that.
Yeah, people said they're like, "What happened to the Muppets? Oh, that ABC show killed it." No, this fucking killed the Muppets for a
Actually,
while.
no, genuinely though, this movie actually legitimately killed it for like a while.
And then Fozzie Lion Courage. That's literally all the time we need to
yeah.
spend on that.
Yeah.
Moving on.
There we go. Yeah.
And
Then they have like the second song in the movie.
You're right.
And
again,
Friendship song.
the friendship song.
The second act. Oh, we're buddies song.
Two things I want to point out about this. The music in this is actually done by Michael Giacchino.
Yeah, I saw that,
Which is
and I was
kind
like,
of surprising,
yeah.
given this. Also, this song, "I'm With You," was nominated for a Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Music
What?
and Lyrics.
It's because it's the Muppets. That has to be it.
Emmys are stupid.
Yeah.
Award shows are dumb.
I did look this up, and it, of course, lost to a song from Reefer Madness, the movie musical, which is the correct choice. Thank you, Emmys.
What was going on in 2005?
The war in Iraq, George W. Bush's second term,
Yeah.
all good stuff.
Oh yeah,
Batman Begins came out.
George Bush, the most embarrassing president of all time.
Yep, and it will always be that way.
So now it's just like we got like a checklist of like Muppets we got to meet. So we meet Statler and Waldorf. They're like
They're playing two
There's some British
Kalidas, who are also characters from the
book.
Frank Baum book. They are described in the book as bears with the heads of tigers.
Okay.
They are just Statler and Waldorf, and they have like horns and claws
Yeah.
and stuff. And they have to get across this felled tree log, and they're gonna heckle them the entire time. And
they
this
weren't
is-
half bad. They weren't half good either.
That was actually pretty good.
That's very good. I
Yeah.
love Statler and Waldorf.
They're some of my favorites.
They are not well used in this.
No,
in fact,
no.
their heckles are notably weak. Like after
Hey,
they
they
got
got-
they literally go like, "You suck," and it's like, come on, guys.
They
You
just
can
had
do-
to put them in there somewhere. I think they would
Yeah.
have been really funny as flying monkeys,
oh
personally.
yeah.
Or like the Emerald City
Guards.
guard is
That would've been perfect!
It's eventually revealed to be Sam Eagle, which I guess that makes
Whatever.
sense. But like, no, Statler and Waldorf should have been those guys. Like, you're never coming in here, boo. Like, I don't know. I can't.
you know
That
what?
would've
I
been
can't
good.
write material off the top
Look,
of my head. But
they get way more to do
Neither
than
can anybody who wrote this.
no.
they get way more to do than the Swedish Chef did.
I don't think the Swedish Chef is in this.
Oh, he's in it.
Is he?
I'll point it out to you.
I
when it-
forgot
when it
about
happens.
him.
Again, when we were getting towards like towards the end of the second half or act of it, I was like, I am struggling
This
so
is
hard to pay
this is
attention
a short
to this.
movie, but my God, does
It's
it?
an hour and 40, actually. It's actually not that short.
Yeah,
yeah.
both Christmas Carol and Treasure Island are shorter than that. So yeah, but I guess they had to make time for commercial breaks.
Yeah. So we get to the Poppy Fields nightclub,
I
like
hate this.
this fucking sex den looking place.
Now this is, I mean, this is always.
hate this.
This has always been like a contentious part of any Wizard of Oz adaptation where they go into the poppy field and then they fall
They
asleep.
pass out. But that's because the witch is like, the point is that the witch is putting a spell on them. And it's not the poppies that make them pass out, it's the snow.
it's-
I know.
Yeah.
But pretty much every adaptation leans into like, poppy stuff. So they're basically entering
Opium.
They're basically entering
Yeah.
an opium
But
club.
I mean, in the 30s version, though, it's like, it's the snow that makes them fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the poppies, it's the snow.
It's the asbestos.
It's the, it is the
Another
You're
deep
reading
cut
about
Muppet here where we meet the bouncer who is played by Clifford. who you probably don't remember.
Whoosh.
He was another 90s Muppet. He was the host of Muppets Tonight. And he was largely introduced because at this point in time, Kevin Clash, the voice of Elmo, was at his absolute apex of popularity. Wow. And they came up with this Muppet to really give him more to do.
Okay.
And Clifford's kind of like a cool guy,
Yeah,
you know? He's like, look, he's the Black Muppet. There's really no other way to, like, say this.
Yeah.
He has dreadlocks, he has, like, a cool guy voice, he wears shades.
Yeah. Is he a catfish?
He's kind of a catfish.
Okay.
They
I
don't...
always thought Janice was a little bit like maybe like African American coded.
With the braids?
I mean, she's a little more Janis Joplin coded, I would argue. Zoot is definitely black. Zoot definitely...
Speaking of these guys, they're the band. They're the house band of the Power Stage
Happy
nightclub.
Black History Month.
Yeah, Happy Black
Free
History
white
Month.
people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Talking
Yes,
about-
we got the Electric Mayhem, who often are in this era are just displayed as like the band, but they have like weird ties to the villains. There's a great joke in Muppet Treasure Island about
There is,
that,
about them just
where they're all
hanging
like, "Are we like with the frog or are we with the pirates?" Hey man, don't ask too many questions.
A gig's a gig, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's always great to see those guys.
The Electric, that was my mom's favorite Muppets.
Of course,
Mayhem?
all of them. Yeah, they're all
Mayhem.
great.
She loved them.
So they go into the poppy field. Dorothy, Toto, and the lion pass out, but because the Scarecrow and the Tin Man are
Not human.
are abominations of man, they're able to rescue
There are
them.
fronts to God.
They call in the Munchkins to rescue them and get them out
And
of
then with the
here.
little gas masks.
Munchkin teach them a song that they can sing whenever they need
Yeah, it was
Munchkin
like,
help.
you can call me or whatever, and it's like Brandy. Why did I say Brandy? Sorry, Ashanti
Ashanti.
sings it for like 5 seconds.
It's
Sorry.
like almost a song, and then they like give up. It's like more like a little like
Yeah. Quick response time on these guys.
Yeah.
They got to come all the way from Munchkin
They
Village.
were probably following them.
Probably. Yeah, so they go in there and they rescue
they can't bring Dorothy back to life, and that's when Gonzo pulls out some
defibrillators because
paddles.
he's a robot.
Kind of a funny gag.
That's all right, yeah, I'm
and
okay.
Ashanti's hair is all crazy.
Yeah, she's got the crazy wig and everything.
I think that's around when I stopped taking notes for a bit because I was like, I have to pace around my bedroom. Also, this is where I realized, because I was watching this off of YouTube, that I could put this to 2 times speed.
Can't be over with it. Right?
Yeah,
Right,
it was
right.
like halfway through.
That's smart.
And I had this whole epiphany moment where I was like, oh, wait, I'm watching this off of YouTube. I can boot this up to 2 times speed. And I'm not going to lie to you, it really helped with the joke delivery speed. Because
Sure.
I noticed
There's a lot of dead air.
Yes, it's a lot of dead air. It's also a lot of like slow pacing. So all of the jokes were paced after that. They almost were funnier in that sense, but the movie did not need to be that long, is what I realized. But no, I halfway through, I was like, I cannot.
We gotta speed this along here. Yeah.
So we get to the Emerald Village. Sam the Eagle's the guard. He's
The
talking
Emerald Village.
with Emeralds, whatever.
Yeah, it's a whole ass city. It's like the one thing we know about it.
So he gets to
It's
the.
a CGI nightmare.
It is a CGI nightmare.
Oh, but hold on.
Sam the Eagle's there, and yeah, we'll get to the CGI nightmares.
Sam the Eagle's there, and you're hoping, I love him. Maybe he'll do or say something funny. Nope, not really.
He's got his voice sounded different. It had a weird filter.
Look,
effect.
all of the Muppets sound weird. Look, I love the new Seth Rogen thing, but it does remain to be said, Kermit sounds off now.
Yeah.
And like, we pass the torch, and people retire, and people move on, and it's just.
But I mean, like, who can't do a decent Kermit the Frog voice?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I could probably do it. I do want to, since we're talking about Muppet performers, I just want to give a shout out.
Frank Oz.
No, Dave Goltz, 79 years old,
All right.
and he has been the only person to voice Gonzo.
Oh yeah.
No one has voiced that character. He's been from the very beginning. He continues to do it to this day.
Wow.
According to several
And
reports.
he said nipples.
He
said
said
the word
nipples.
has.
But he's still doing it. He's on the Frank Oz show. He has given reports where he has had like so many surgeries to his back from having to just like
Poor
do
fella.
this one pose for like the past like 3 decades. But yeah, he is the last of the old guard. He
Really?
He is
Wow.
the only one who has ever done Gonzo.
So yeah, they get to the wizard's office. Scooter is like his receptionist or whatever.
Doesn't do anything interesting, but we gotta include
it's
Scooter.
We have our quota of Muppets.
We have our Scooter.
We got to get them all, otherwise there'd be riots in the street. And this I thought was quite clever. He says, okay, yeah, you'll all get to see the wizard, but because his majesty is so breathtaking, you have to wear special glasses to see him.
That was a clever
And I was like, this is a pretty clever way of doing the whole charlatan thing
Smoke
of the
and mirrors
smoke and
thing.
mirrors.
Yes, and of course they get their special glasses from who
Courtesy
else?
of Professor Honeydew and Beaker.
Now, in addition to having to wear the green glasses, for some reason, Bunsen Honeydew immediately gets on Dorothy's case for her outfit.
Yeah.
She's wearing her apron from the diner
Which
the
is
entire
like
time away.
The cute little throwback, even though it's red.
Kind of a throwback to the Judy Garland dress,
Well,
like
that's
a
the
little
point.
bit.
That's the
Yeah.
point. But I think that the thing was that they had licensing maybe issues, which is why they have
Of
the
course.
silver slippers
Yes.
and it's a red gingham. But like
Yeah,
it's
and we
that's
can't
nice.
do any
That's-
references to
Yeah.
the Garland
I
movie.
suppose.
So,
I guess
Bunsen
this
Honeydew...
movie has so many aspects that could have been good.
So,
And speaking of aspects that someone should have taken another pass on, because, woof, this is a moment
the
here.
makeover machine.
So Bunsen
my
Honeydew has a
God.
makeover machine.
Yeah.
And he says...
You're not pretty enough to go see the wizard.
Yes.
He likes his guest sexy.
And he's
you know?
talking to
No,
Ashanti.
He doesn't say that.
someone who's only been objectified this entire movie by puppets.
Yeah.
But
And
yes...
also David Allen Greer.
Yeah, her uncle, who's maybe a little too into her rap girl outfit.
Not blood
But-
relative.
But so yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking like midway through, was like, are they actually related? Yeah. Niece through marriage. But Ashanti steps into a makeover machine. We see all these like dials and buttons and whatnot, and says it has things like attitude readjustment and whatnot. So Ashanti steps into the makeover machine.
Perfect girl Ashanti.
And out through the other end, and this is how you can tell this movie came out in 2005, comes Kelly Osbourne. Now, put aside for the fact that this is a joke only for the early aughts, where Kelly Osbourne was any sort of a talking point. Just the optics
of a black
of
lady
a woman of color walking into a makeover machine.
I had the exact same.
Be like, you need to be more perfect, and it comes out
There.
as Kelly Osbourne.
Now you're ready to see the wizard.
But Kelly Osbourne at the time was also famously made fun of for her body and like her like whatever. So it was almost like, I think the joke was that we've made her uglier. I think that was actually supposed to be
I think the joke was just, hey,
it's a celebrity.
We can get Kelly Osbourne
get a
here.
cameo.
Isn't that crazy that we got Kelly Osbourne
Again,
to do this?
At the time, people were making fun of Kelly Osbourne. They were calling her fat and they were calling her ugly all the time. Like, she was being heavily criticized in the media constantly, which is a trend that is evergreen. But in the whole thing, they were like, no, send her in there. Make her look more like Ashanti. So Ashanti herself is already canonically a celebrity. So Dorothy is a different girl who just happens to look a lot like Ashanti.
Do they mention that Ashanti
Yes, they
is
say-
like in the world?
No,
Give her more of an
they do
Ashanti.
Send her back
because
in
they say and then make her look more like
we're
Ashanti.
giving
Yeah,
more of
yeah.
an Ashanti vibe.
Sure.
So it's like Ashanti actually already canonically
So the characters in
exists.
Oz know who Ashanti is.
Yeah, for some
but when
reason.
Dorothy goes to Oz,
She doesn't know who the Muppets are.
even though she does know who the Muppets are because she's auditioning for them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does make one's
The
head
movie
hurt.
makes me so angry.
They should have just got Ozzy Osbourne to come out of that machine. Why the
Oh,
fuck
wouldn't
not?
that have been so much better?
Oh, I didn't even
he'll-
think of the Oz connection.
You
actually.
didn't?
No.
Yeah.
That would have made the
Osbourne?
sense, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, if they had bothered to make a
Born
joke
of
about
Oz.
that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, he'll always just be more
That would've been a
famous
funnier
than Kelly Osbourne. So why the fuck not get Ozzy involved in
Hey,
it?
I mean, we're talking about her.
I haven't said the words Kelly Osbourne in years.
Look, I'll tell you this much: if she had come out of the machine and they had not like identified her as Kelly Osbourne, I might not have recognized her. 2005 was a long fucking time ago.
This isn't anymore.
So rather than all of the friends going together, for some reason, everyone has to go in individually.
I like that's a nice
makes
touch.
sense, though.
Yeah.
I do like that in the terms of, again, maybe harkening back to like the original.
I don't know if that happens in the book, but
it's a nice touch, though.
Individual,
Because now when they're seeing the wizard,
Specifications.
like
the wizard is different for all of them.
yes, exactly. exactly, and he's always depicted as like maybe like their greatest fear or something like that.
Yeah.
So like Lion goes first, and like the wizard is like this giant dragon, this CGI nightmare dragon.
All of these are CGI nightmares.
And I was just
Oh my
like,
God,
why the
it's
fuck is it a
so
dragon? I'm like, okay,
outrageous.
nice touch. And so he just has him pitch like what he wants, and he says no, next, hits a gong, and Fozzie falls through a trapdoor. Gonzo is the next one in there, and instead of getting like
man.
I don't know,
An
like
actress?
yeah, Halle Berry or Rebecca Romaine
Any
or something
human
like that.
being.
Like,
Human at all.
This is the most disturbing part of it.
it's just it's an
so
ugly
bad.
CGI woman.
It's like PS2 rendering though.
Yeah.
Like she already had
is-
good CGI.
It is
at
a
this point.
giant, sexy lady
Yeah.
who, as she is talking to Gonzo, morphs into a chicken.
chicken.
So we get this half chicken, half woman body, and it's just all like, this is a fetish movie.
Yeah.
This is someone's weird fucking fetish, down to the point that Quentin Tarantino is in
The
it.
sexual jokes in this movie are absolutely like it's so far past from being like kind of funny to being so blatant and uncomfortable to the point where like if I had kids, I wouldn't let them watch this
No,
movie.
well, and your mom pointedly turned it off after a certain point,
The-
and she
the
was correct.
fiddling with
And she was correct.
the
Yes.
nips,
Yeah.
she's like, okay, we have to
Anyway,
stop
the chicken lady poops out an egg, and the egg hits the gong, and the tin thing falls down.
Oh, that was awful.
Kermit's like he sees the wizard as like a fireball or something like that.
Kermit does have a joke that I was
This
kind
is
of...
this is cute. It made me go, ha.
Yeah, this was a cute little joke.
Hi there, Mr. Oz. Are you by chance in relation to Frank Oz?
Frank
I
Oz!
missed that because, as it says in my notes, I hate this movie. Attention span hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
Jim Henson rolling in his grave. Why did they need a CGI lady? And then I had to put it on 2x speed.
Yep.
Way
and then
funnier jokes.
Dorothy goes in to see the wizard, and for some reason he looks like Boss Nass
Yes,
now.
I wrote down the exact same thing, Jameson. Thank you. He looks like... I expected him to go...
yeah.
at one point in time. Yes, that's exactly what he looks
Yusa
like.
go kill the witch for me or something like that. Yeah, he gives her the assignment. I don't exactly know why, but he says like, now go now. And so he hits the trap door, and they do that fucking gag from The Simpsons where like she's too far away from
Yeah.
the trap door, so she has to
to
jump.
jump in.
Yeah.
But it's so weird
yeah.
because the way that the fucking weird stupid CGI head is like, or like it's just a lot of pausing and going like that.
This is awkward. Oh boy,
Where
could
he's
you
also, like,
jump into the pit, please?
repeating all of his things
Yeah.
to sound like it's echoing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god. I want
And
to
in
see
this
it.
version, he tells them to get the Wicked Witch's eye, all-seeing eye that
Yeah.
she has.
Isn't that not from the book?
That is also
Yeah.
from the book, and also, and like, there's a lot of words. Yeah, in the book, the Wicked Witch has an eye patch, and under her eye patch, she has an all-seeing eye that can see everything. She also has a magical cap that she can control the flying monkeys and all the other stuff with. That's all from the book.
So this is a pretty
So
accurate
those-
adaptation.
That's what I said in the beginning of the episode. This is a weirdly faithful adaptation of The Wizard of Oz.
I do like the biker gang aspect
Yeah.
of it.
Yes.
I do like
Now,
that.
and that also is a tip of the magic cap to The Wiz, in which the Flying Monkeys are also a motorcycle gang.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so they're pulling
So
from
we're
a whole
just-
bunch
we're
of
just-
stuff.
We're just ripping off.
Yeah,
a
we're
bunch
just
All
of
things,
shit.
yeah.
We're just taking like the good ideas that other people came up with and
Of course,
and doing
as
this.
you
Yes.
do. We're not going to make it derivative. We're going to do plagiarism, but in a really fun Muppet way.
So we see Miss Piggy, and she's the Wicked Witch of the West, and she leads like the Flying Monkeys, who are all these motorcycle gangs. Who the fuck is that guy with the green skin?
We get another. This is yet
Who the fuck is that
another
guy?
Muppet
The
cut.
weird
this is-
boyfriend that
this,
she has?
This is yet another character left over from Muppets Tonight. This is Johnny Fiamma and his right hand man Sal Manella, the monkey. They really leaned
That's
into
actually
these
really
guys
funny.
on Muppets Tonight. Like Johnny Fiamma
Okay,
is
I
like
do like that.
a Frank's like a Dean Martin-esque crew
I could
or
tell,
whatever. and then Sal Manella was like his bodyguard. It's all like, out of the way, Johnny Fiamma coming through.
Yeah.
And they are here, and yeah, he's basically like Piggy's like boyfriend in this. Like this is very
To be-
eye-opening.
Unnecessary.
It's very eye-opening, Jameson, that if you weren't familiar with like this one not terribly successful Muppet show from the 90s, there are a bunch of characters in this that you would have no idea
This
who
guy
they
gets
are.
so much screen
He
time.
gets a lot of screen
When the
time,
witch
yeah.
dies at the end, he like has like this, oh my dear love, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who the fuck are you?
Who
I
is
just
this
point-
guy?
He gets like a
indeed?
whole
Yes.
monologue to himself.
Can I point one thing out, though?
Yes.
Miss Piggy as the Wicked Witch of the West is not green, but her boyfriend, Johnny Fiamma.
Yeah.
He is green.
Well, she has a type.
She likes green men.
She likes green
yeah,
men.
okay.
Green men,
So I
absolutely, yeah.
Alright.
made that rainbow connection in my
So,
head.
so she and her flying monkeys, they ride.
And the flying monkeys are all like the cool Muppets, like Crazy Larry and Sweetums. I like how Sweetums is one of the Muppets, but then
And we're at the end of this movie, and we're seeing all of these like cronies, and
Yeah.
we're only finally seeing the villain of this movie.
I
at the
like
end.
how when they're like on the ground, Sweetums is part of the flying monkeys, but as they're flying through the air, Sweetums is notably absent because I just like we don't know how to make this work. 'Cause he just walked,
Yeah,
all right,
he
like
walked
he got there on his own.
So Wicked
So-
Witch, she corners Dorothy and her friends. She's about to sing her villain song, and she says, "Hit it." And then the band still hasn't set up yet.
Again,
I
They're
laughed.
running in,
Funny.
they're like,
I
we've been
liked it.
touring in the same bus since 1978.
But we're just killing time. But holy shit, this song's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, in my notes it says, and just when it couldn't get worse, ska.
Yep. Weird.
It's a ska song.
It's the most shapeless fucking song. None of these songs have any fucking
It's
like
it's
form to
kind
them.
of metal. It's kind of ska.
No, it's a ska
It changes genres every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
she
it's-
also sings like she just goes off and she starts like speak singing, and it doesn't sound good, and it's not cohesive, and I know that you can do that, and there's like whatever musical rules, but like
And we
Man,
know,
it
and
sounded bad.
we know from the previous Muppet
No
movies, Miss
flow.
Piggy has the voice of an angel.
no flow, no rhythm.
Although pointedly,
Love letters
not
there.
not being voiced by Frank Oz this time.
Yeah.
So maybe the new guy didn't have the pipes
Didn't
for
have
it.
the pipes,
Who
yeah.
can say?
No, it's
yeah.
atrocious because she's like rapping a little bit, and
Yeah,
like
they had to
It's-
throw,
it's
they
a-
had to throw that in.
It's a real gumbo of a song.
And of course, this is from the novel, but it does have to be said that Kermit and Gonzo being torn to pieces is some pure nightmare fuel.
Oh, I wasn't ready to see that. I did not need to see them
Yeah.
getting torn apart and dismembered.
Kermit keeps getting dismembered, and even after everything's fine,
Yeah.
he still gets
Seeing
decapitated.
the torn remains of like my childhood,
my buddies!
my childhood heroes.
even in the 1930s one where the scarecrow is getting torn apart by the monkeys,
it's upsetting.
so
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I think
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Jason Segel said like one of the weirdest things about making that Muppet movie was that when the Muppets aren't being used and they're kind of just like laying around
Oh, it's
with their
creepy.
mouths
Yeah.
open and everything.
Like
He says-
they're like dead bodies.
and he's like, "Yeah, nothing prepares you for
I
seeing
need
something
I need Steve Whitemeyer. I need him to be Kermit all the
all
time.
the time." Yeah.
This is a story.
like you're like crafty and you're just like doing the Muppet.
I shared this story with you, I think, like on text like a while back, but I remember reading about this. During the filming of Muppets Most Wanted, Danny Trejo's father passed away.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And he recounted this story in an interview where everyone in the crew came up to him and was offering their condolences. And he said, like, he was holding it together until Kermit came up and said, "I'm really sorry your father passed away, Daddy." And then he's all like, "Can't do it, man. I gotta
Yeah,
go."
he just
And he went to
broke-
the bathroom and just broke down crying. And it's like, that's an amazing story, but also
I'm so-
the balls you would have to go up to Danny Trejo with Kermit the Frog
Yeah.
on your hand and say, "Sorry, your dad died." That dude has
okay.
fucking guts.
And using
I'm
the
gonna-
the little puppet sticks to like put his
put his hand on your shoulder. Oh
I'm
my
gonna
god.
counter that with if when my dad died, someone came up to me and they were like, "Wow, I'm really sorry to hear that." I'd be like, "Yes, whatever." And if they had if they were the puppeteer for Kermit the Frog, I personally would rather hear it from Kermit.
Of course, yeah.
Even
I'd
if
rather
it made
hear
me sad.
the worst news in the world. If Kermit the Frog told it to me, I might be able to stick
I'm
with
so
it.
sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear the
Yeah.
puppeteer telling me he's sorry for my loss. I want to hear.
I'm sorry to
Kermit.
tell you, but Palestine has been invaded, and it's like, oh, Kermit, you softened the blow a little bit, buddy. Oh,
The
boy.
ceasefire's ended.
so Dorothy and Toto are tied up in the witch's lair. She's gonna saw her feet off.
She's literally got a trap from Saw.
Yeah. She's gonna so she can get the ruby slippers, and she's like, "You're gonna suffer the agony of defeat." And I was like, "All right."
We also learned that she does bathe, but only in bottled water.
Bottled water.
It has to be a bottled water
Yeah.
bath. That will be in something that you can. It's definitely not telegraphed, and you definitely can't tell where this is going.
Yeah. Fozzie breaks out of jail.
Oh right, he's in this movie.
Yeah, Fozzie breaks out of this fucking jail and he frees Dorothy, and then they have a fight scene. that is cut away from so we can have a fucking cameo from Quentin
Yeah, I was gonna
Tarantino
wait,
of all
we can
people.
talk about Quentin Tarantino. We talked about feet, and then it took so long to get from there to Quentin Tarantino.
It was a very short walk between, yes.
He heard us talking about feet.
As
and
he
he's
likes, as he prefers.
This movie does linger on Dorothy's feet quite a lot, so I imagine that's why Quentin Tarantino. Yes, Quentin Tarantino, a totally normal guy who's never said or did anything
Nope,
weird or
never.
controversial.
made some great movies. Not that
However,
great of a
I
guy.
will say in his weird kind of coked up manic thing, where
He's
he's
so
like,
sweaty in this movie. I was not. I was worried for his health.
he's pitching his own anime, very much Kill Bill-esque fight sequence between the Wicked Witch and Dorothy.
The joke is it's a
Kermit
cutaway
as the
to a
executive.
boardroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's pitching
But
the thing.
I gotta be so real with you. The way he was describing it, I'm like, that's the movie I want to see.
Yeah,
Sure.
it sounds
It
entertaining
would have been
enough.
better than this. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
would love to see a Quentin Tarantino directed Muppet movie.
Wasn't there that Happy Time Murders movie? That would
That
probably
movie was so bad. and
Yeah,
that
that's the
was
closest
not
we're gonna
Quentin
get to a Tarantino
That's
Muppets.
Not Tarantino.
Yeah.
I kind of like that movie.
Well, you're wrong.
I kind of think that we don't have the time to get into it, but I think that movie is kind of unfairly maligned. Anyway, the Tarantino thing probably would have worked better if he wasn't third billed in the credits. If you kept that as a reveal, it would have been like the subtle but necessary difference
will
between
say-
Quentin Tarantino and.
Oh,
yep,
there he
there's
is.
They said he'd be here.
The length it took from point A to get to point B, though, you do forget
Yeah.
that he's like in this movie.
That is true. They do mention his name, and then
Doesn't he have like a title?
a full hour before
I
his?
can't stress enough how much we haven't heard Ashanti sing yet.
Yeah. So Ashanti kicks Miss Piggy into the bathtub, and then we find out that her bottled water bath actually has like tap water in it or something. So she starts melting, and you see like this weird, skinny,
bad.
like a Miss Piggy worm,
Which I think briefly became a meme. I remember seeing that as a still image.
Very bizarre.
Oh, it's very weird.
But then she melts into a CGI puddle, and it's very
And then
upsetting.
There's still like half an hour left of the movie.
yeah.
There's so much Muppet death in this, and I don't care for
This
it.
movie practically was the death of the Muppets.
It was.
Yeah.
It was for like a full decade.
Yeah.
It killed them dead.
So now the Flying Monkeys swear their allegiance to Dorothy, and she leads her fucking Hell's Angels over there to rescue Gonzo and Scarecrow Kermit.
Who are still alive, and they're just like
But I love
talking heads.
I did kind of like the moment where it's like she gives the hat to the monkey, and everybody goes, "She's giving the hat to the monkey. She's giving the monkey the hat. She's giving the monkey the hat." And it's like, yeah, we're giving the monkey the hat.
Yeah. Because like he's like the monkey's boss
Yeah.
in the thing.
No,
so
I know,
he's-
I got
yeah,
it. I'm like, okay, yeah, we're giving the monkey the hat.
Give me the monkey that. Let's say it like 10 more
it.
times.
Yeah.
So yeah, we rescue all of our friends
Yeah.
and we go back to the wizard with the all-seeing eye.
Yeah, but they don't have the glasses on this go around, and they actually walk into
a
his
soundstage.
It's just a soundstage.
It's the soundstage where they filmed the movie.
It's pretty.
They
I
saved,
liked it.
They saved money on just showing where the movie
know.
was
I
filmed.
loved that
That
actually.
wasn't terrible, but it was very much indicative of the budget.
Sure. But also kind of a tip of the cap to the end of the Muppet movie, which takes place in a big empty movie studio. So there we go.
You're right. You're right.
I forgot to mention this earlier. This is yet another movie, Jameson, on our growing list of movies that we didn't realize at the time were filmed here.
Oh yeah.
This movie was largely filmed in Surrey.
Oh, no way.
Huh.
I have to imagine most of it on the soundstage,
Wow.
but yeah, all of the Kansas stuff was filmed in Surrey.
Can't say I'm proud of that.
No, definitely
It's
not.
a
No.
Vancouver local.
Yes, but we do the classic.
Surrey can have this one.
You know what? I'm not of it. I'm from the island. You know, I don't claim this.
We're doing the classic pay no attention to that man behind the counter,
Yeah.
but a panel falls off, and we see Oz is played by Jeffrey Tambor.
I really like Jeffrey Tambor.
He's great.
I do
He's
too,
so good
but-
at playing like, okay, you caught me. I know what I did was wrong, but he's such a weasel about it.
It also
too.
has to be said, it's just funny to see him in an enclosed space.
Yeah.
It does bring to mind
He's in his
George,
sweatpants.
yeah.
He's
in
in
his
his-
sweatpants.
But yeah, Jeffrey Tambor's
Jeffrey Tambor's very funny. He's all like, go away, nothing to see here.
He's so pathetic.
I love how at one point he grabs a pair of cymbals and he just clangs them
Yeah.
together for no particular reason.
That's how the wizard does his sounds.
yeah.
That's how the
Yeah,
wizard
he's trying to walk over, but he's still
whizzes,
wearing
I
the
guess.
headset, so he gets caught. So he says, "Here, all right, I'll make it up to you. I'll give you everything that you want." He calls like a kind of a press conference, and he's coming out in his wizard robes and everything, and he's like, "It's time that I start being honest with you all." And he takes his hat off, and he's got like a huge
Yes.
toupee,
That'd
and I'm
be-
like, "That's so great."
It's great because we the audience have seen him as Oz
baldy.
as
But
Jeffrey
Bald,
Tambor.
bald, Bog, bog, bog.
Okay, I'm sitting right here. God damn it!
But like that's so the wizard.
Yeah.
You know, he's like such a con man. Oh, I love that touch. Yeah.
Tambor's very well cast.
Yeah.
And we do the thing where we give tokens to all of the thing. Fozzie wants to be a stand-up comedian, of course, so he gives the lion a golden microphone, making this the second movie
wait.
we've covered in a row, Jameson, featuring
hold
a
on.
golden microphone.
Before we even get there, when Ashanti is getting out of the car for this whole prep run,
Yeah,
she
that's weird, too.
She goes like, "But you guys haven't even heard me sing," and I'm like, "I know it's been an hour since we've heard you last sing, Ashanti. Nobody here has heard you sing, including us, the people at home."
But she is a celebrity in Oz. We see everyone tuning in to watch the thing. She, of course, signs one of New Zealand's boomerang fish.
Yeah.
We got that in there.
Yeah.
Tin Man gets like a candy Valentine's Day heart.
And he gets reunited with Camilla.
who I guess was just around the entire time. I don't really
I'll
know.
love you no matter
But
what.
he calls her fat.
He does. He calls her fat.
No, he says you filled out, and he's like, "No, that's not what I meant." And
That's
like,
a good thing.
Yeah.
He likes a bigger boned lady.
He's saying
a
he
full-breasted.
likes big booty bitches.
Yeah,
That's right.
And we stand.
Yep.
A thicky chicky.
Scarecrow comes out and Jeffrey Tambor just takes the puppet head off and fills it with bran flakes.
Because it's supposed to be
Not
brain
brain flakes,
food.
bran flakes.
And then he puts the head back on,
What a bad gag.
and then Kermit immediately excuses himself because he has to take a shit.
That's
He doesn't say that, but that's what they imply because he's full of bran now.
Because this ain't the Muppets you grew up with.
Oh my god, this movie isn't even campy. It's just terrible. It's trying too hard to be campy.
And then he gives Dorothy everything she ever wanted. She's like a big celebrity, and she starts singing. And then
I don't
she
want
goes,
this anymore.
I don't want this. I want to be
It's
back
been
home with my aunt and my uncle, who I
5
don't
seconds
even
of
like.
singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 seconds of singing after an hour of her like first time.
Yep. So they say like, okay, well, if you want to do that, go see Miss Piggy in the Munchkin Village.
And there's
Glinda!
there's
Finally, Glinda!
There's just this feeling of defeatedness. Like the movie itself, like the actors themselves throw their hands up and go, "Fine, I guess we'll do that." And like it's just it's
And then
so
off
circumspect
camera,
of
they
like
go
us,
back
the
to my
audience.
yeah.
We're right there with them, where it's
Yeah.
all like,
Well,
I guess 10 more minutes of this is
I
what I
guess-
gotta put up with.
I guess they were trying to capture that moment of frustration where in the original 1930s, when we're like the wizard's going off in the balloon and he's like, "Oh, I can't do
I
anything
can't
about
stop
that.
anything. I don't know how
Sorry."
balloons
And then
work.
Dorothy's
Bye.
like, "Oh no, I'll never get back to Kansas." And then Glenda's
You should
like,
have been doing this voice the entire
Bit-
episode, by the way.
"Oh, I think that would have gotten old very fast."
Too late to know now.
But then Glinda's like, "Well, dear, if you just take your stupid little shoes that I forced you to remove from a dead woman's corpse, and you just go click, click, you'll go right back home." And she goes,
And I will reign supreme over Oz.
Now, this is interesting because
but it's not quite getting it.
because of the way the book works, she gets the shoes from the other witch. She doesn't get the shoes from Glinda because of the way the 1930s
And we never see the Witch of the North
movie.
again either.
Yeah.
Well, in this one we do. We got double the Miss Piggy in the same frame actually, so that's kind of interesting. We've never had that before.
Again, I was struggling to pay
but-
attention.
Because Glinda only shows up at the end of the book, it does make the whole reveal that's all like your shoes could have sent you home anytime you wanted. It kind of fills in that plot hole because like if Glinda were there, she probably would have told her that the shoes could have done that. But because she only shows up at the very end, but we still do
That's a
Sure,
fairly
okay.
common criticism.
we
of
still
it.
do the joke of all like that. It would have been nice if someone had told me that to
Yeah.
begin with.
Yeah,
It's
have
all
Oh,
a
and the way to go
blisters.
home, you have that.
everyone has to make that joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's like, "I got blisters all over my goddamn feet from these things."
Yeah, Glinda's kind of a bitch.
Which, to be fair, if you look at those shoes as opposed to what Dorothy was wearing in like the original one, those are like heeled pumps. Like,
Yeah, I was
I'm
gonna
just
say, those are
imagining
heels.
myself walking over like
A brick wall.
cobblestones.
Yeah.
Well, they're
and-
Manolos. Also,
They're not.
there is definitely a moment that I
They're not.
noticed where Dorothy is walking on the yellow brick road, and like the yellow brick road notably like dips in the middle because it's like very clearly like a cheap like paper mache
That's
set.
sad.
or
Well,
whatever.
it's got to be like a couple of feet off the ground so the Muppet actors can walk
very
underneath.
true.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
So there's a lot of give, or maybe Ashanti's just heavier than she looks. Anyways, she taps her
Now
heels.
who's objectifying women?
Well, everyone gets one. Anyways, she taps her heels and she she goes back to Kansas.
She leaves Toto behind, which
Yeah.
good.
Thank
Yeah.
fucking God. I would not want to.
Look, he's with his people. He's with the Muppets now.
It's funny.
He said that's fine. He was like, I cannot look at you or whatever, and it's like, cool, me too. Bye.
Yeah, later.
It's really funny how like
I would
we
leave
really
my
we,
weird-
like this is like her beloved pet, and then as soon as
She risked her life to go
as
rescue.
soon as he gains autonomy and the ability to
If
speak, she's
I-
all like, "You suck."
Yeah,
I'm
this-
actually,
You're,
no,
you're
actually-
very problematic.
You're actually not coming home with me.
I love my cat. I'd kill for him. I'd die for him. If I went to a magical fantasy realm and realized that he had like sentience and he could speak and
he was a
started
bit of a pervert.
sexualizing
Yeah.
me the entire time, I would.
He's probably seen you naked so often.
He has, and I
Yeah.
would leave him there. I
got,
would
like, thoughts
leave.
about
I'd
it.
be like, you know what? Actually, now that I know that you're like
Yep.
a man, I'm just gonna. Not my you know man. You're like a man. I'm gonna leave you here. So great getting to know you. I'm getting a female cat next
Hope
time.
it works out for you. Yeah. So she goes back to Auntie M's diner there, and who should be there but Kermit the Frog?
No!
He's heard her demo, and he says,
That's a great reaction. No, he shouldn't be. No, fuck him. But no, he's been waiting because he listened to her demo.
it's like,
and he's been
you're
hanging-
hired. You can be on Muppets
Whatever-
Got Talent or
whatever.
whatever.
But
the fuck we're
that,
doing.
but we're skipping over the fact that as soon as she walked back in the diner, she is immediately again slut shamed from her outfit.
And then she says, no, what I really learned is that I want to be home with my family. And then Queen Latifah's all like, actually, I've had some time to think
Yeah.
too.
There's money in show business.
And I think for us to be a better family, it actually would work better if you left and
Yeah,
weren't here
now
anymore.
that I know that you are
Also, our
actually-
home blew away in a tornado.
Yeah.
There's no home for you to go back to. We've been sleeping at the diner.
Yeah, now that I know that you're not like a hopeless cause and there is like an actual celebrity interest in you,
That's a good-
I now realize that we should invest in you.
That's actually a good point, Jameson. They are actually displaced, so it's all like, no,
You're-
go on tour with the Muppets.
You're our meal ticket now, lady.
They own a diner, okay?
It's like the only diner in Kansas.
It's like Waffle House.
Yeah. And then the movie ends with her singing the closing number.
Didn't you love this? This is what you wanted the entire time.
Finally hearing Ashanti sing and
You keep saying finally. That's how the movie opens. It's
I
the
know.
very first thing that happens
I
is
know.
Ashanti sings a song.
But it takes almost an hour and a half for her to sing another whole song. But my notes are like, oh my god, not one of these songs was good, and it's finally over.
Okay, but look, let me introduce like a counter argument to this. In Wizard of Oz, Judy Garland sings "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," an absolute
It's not
banner.
a musical though.
Yes, it is. There's
I mean, yeah,
multiple
it is.
songs
You're right,
throughout it.
you're right, you're
and
right.
then, but then, and then the only other song she sings is "We're Off to See the Wizard," but that's not like a duet. That's not like a solo or anything like that. Dorothy
Okay,
only
but
has
Dorothy is not aspiring to be a famous singer though. Like that's not her part of her character arc. Is
So
like,
she should be singing every 10 minutes.
No,
She should be all like, "Hey, Tin Man, how's
we
it
get
going?"
we don't even get an "I Want" song from Ashanti. We get her initial like a fantasy song where she's singing about like I'm a pop star.
No,
and then,
no. That song is about her wanting to leave Kansas. Like the lyrics are, "I gotta get out of here." That is her. That is definitively her "I Want" song.
It's barely an "I Want" song though.
It's barely a song to
It's
begin with,
barely a
and yet
song.
amazingly, it's still the best song in this entire fucking
Isn't that
thing.
insane?
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Yeah,
It
the song
is.
that I can barely remember, but it's so clearly better than all the other songs. Anyway, just listen to The Wiz.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
If you want,
Yeah.
like
That's a
go-
recommend, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything that we didn't talk about in this this great Muppet adventure?
I don't think so.
One thing that I wanted to mention, it's been a while since I've watched any sort of Muppet film. Refresh my memory. Are there tons of close-ups of the faces of the humans? Because there was a ton of close-ups of Ashanti's face in this
Which
movie.
is crazy because she barely does anything.
I think this is just a
Ashanti?
bad direction.
Okay,
Yes,
all
yeah.
right.
I will say Ashanti is one of those good examples of like a female character who is a sexy lamp. She is so if you don't know what a
The
sexy
character of Ashanti.
yeah.
You mean like from a Christmas Story?
If you don't know what a sexy lamp character is, it's when a female character can be swapped out at any point in time with just a sexy lamp, and it does not change any part of the story whatsoever.
So, as an example, so if like you,
the Princess Bride, Buttercup could be swapped out with a sexy lamp.
if you have Ashanti in a movie and then you swap her out with say I don't know Kelly Osbourne, That's roughly like
That
the
would
same
have been a
thing.
different movie.
Yeah, we're like, this movie only wishes it could be that subversive. Whoa.
I think Kelly Osbourne would make it a level of unwatchable that would be surpass like even what I could do now. I would have to straight up tell you, no, I can't do
Here's
this.
a question I genuinely don't know the answer to. Is Kelly Osbourne a singer?
She had
Yes,
She had
actually.
an album, I think.
Oh, she had the ostensible one album for people who
Nepo
like
Baby.
Nepo Baby album.
I think-
right.
Heard her music. She's not that bad.
Sure.
I think the one hit that she had was like a cover of "Papa Don't Preach."
Oh,
I
actually, do
vaguely
recall this.
remember this
Yeah.
now.
But
Yeah.
she's not a bad singer.
I'm surprised I remember
She's not a
that.
bad singer. She's just not a musician. She's
Yeah.
just not an artist.
All right,
Yeah.
this Muppets Go See the Wizard. Is this movie got something, or is it?
I think it's something, but it's like a negative something.
So it's nothing.
But it's nothing plus. Like it's not. It's a negative something.
Yeah.
Like
Is nothing plus not something, however, though? By adding the plus onto
wait, no,
it.
sorry, it's nothing negative.
Also, nothing plus is the
Oh, there's
name,
tons of negatives with this.
Nothing Plus is the name of the Nothing Movie streaming service that's coming very soon. Just
Yeah,
all,
it's
all of our
just-
catalog.
it's just a bunch
It could be
of
a streaming service. We've covered enough
these
movies.
two
Yeah.
talking.
I don't think this is a great movie at all. I think it does some interesting things as an adaptation
It does have
of
some cool
of The
concepts.
Wizard of Oz. Probably a better writer could have taken another crack at something like this. Don't involve the Muppets at all. This tarnishes the good name of the Muppets.
And it doesn't do great things for the Wizard of Oz either.
There's a couple of good things.
Name.
I
three.
named them.
Yeah, we named them.
Yeah.
Tin Thing.
Tin
yeah.
Thing being smart and going to see the Wizard individually. That's all right.
You just love that sexy chicken lady.
Yeah, Jeffrey Tambor was good as the Wizard.
That's
it.
I liked the texture on Kermit's face. I thought that was clever.
He's got a good face, that frog.
Of course, I loved the nipple joke. I love the Muppets so much. I love them unconditionally. They're like my favorite guys. They make me
Conditionally,
happy. When I rewatched the Muppet movie recently, there's a moment at the end where they all go into Orson Welles' office and they're trying to sign the contract, the rich and famous contract, and Kermit makes an earnest plea for wanting to follow his dream because all he ever wanted to do in his life was bring laughter and joy and entertain other people. And I had this this moment where I went back to my childhood watching this movie on VHS, and I would not be surprised if this was a major inspiration for me wanting to become an actor myself. It's the Muppets. And just like that pure, earnest drive of, like, sometimes... I think the best way to encapsulate the Muppets as, like, a concept is that some people are born who inherently exist to bring joy and entertainment to other people. And they will do that despite the fact that they're not altogether that talented at that. Fozzie wants to be a comedian. He's not great at it. Gonzo wants to be a stunt person. He's miserable at it. But they care.
They try.
They care so
And they-
much
and they
about
support
it.
each other.
And that's why they work, ultimately, and why you are on their side.
Yeah.
None of that is present in this movie.
Nope.
This is one of the worst things that the Muppets have ever been associated with. It was such a bummer. I couldn't recommend it less.
Yeah.
No, don't watch this movie.
And
Seriously.
I own it now. So
Me
that's
too.
that.
There you go, yeah.
Way! Because it's one of those movies that's the same price to rent
It
as
was
to
going to
buy.
be harder for me to pirate it. to be
Yeah.
honest.
So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I just remembered. Swedish Chef, he's in this movie. He gives a medal, I believe. He gives something to one of the guys. He's in the Wizard's press conference. That's the Swedish Chef's
missed
cameo.
that
He
entirely.
has one line. I think it's like...
Does he go dooper dooper doo?
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, well...
Can't say that anymore in today's woke climate.
Tamanella Grinderfall. That was her whole name. That was the Muppet that used to give me nightmares. Sorry. Anyways, thanks guys for letting me be on your podcast.
Of course, Chloe. Thank you again for joining us. This must be like the quickest turnaround time between being a guest on the show and then being a returning guest.
I know.
Normally, there's like year gaps.
I cannot wait to come back and talk about a movie
Oh,
I
this
actually
chick.
like.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
she's
remember
scary.
this.
She's scary.
She's pretty scary, right?
Tamanella Grinderfall, and she was all mean, and she was a witch, and poor
An
Robin.
amazing pull on that name, I gotta say. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm glad that I remembered that right before we.
We had to get that on mic. All right, that's it.
Well, a very Tamarella Grindelwald to you all.
Tamanella!
The Crimes of Grindelwald, and that was Muppets Wizard of Oz, directed by Kirk Thatcher. If you like this episode, please check out our back catalog of episodes. If you go further back into the back catalog, you will notice that the podcast is called The Fuck Is This? Don't worry about it. It's the same show. It's Jameson and me and a guest sometimes, and we just talk about a movie and we just have a little fun with it.
Yeah.
That's you can follow us on some of the social medias, Facebook, Instagram. It's basically just those two.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank Eddie Lamb for his fantastic theme music. You can follow me on Letterboxd as Kaz Lescard.
You can subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my cartoon YouTube channel, Uptown Slim Jim.
And if you want to follow me on Twitch, it's Chloe the Awkward Ghost.
Oh, okay.
And I stream mostly horror games and cinematic walkthroughs. Sometimes I do movie nights. I'm getting back into it after like a few years.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask, because I don't think I've ever seen your Twitch channel.
Oh, it's a whole lot of silly, goofy me being horrifically terrified of absolutely everything, like a giant coward, and it's a good time.
Sounds great.
We might edit that into earlier. We should have asked you for some plugs or whatever.
I did mention
Because now we have to end the episode. I'm gonna put this down. See if you can pick it up, Jameson. You know, that Muppet movie wasn't half bad.
No, it wasn't half good either.
No!